here and get cozy.
And back here live at the Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the 34th annual at the Patron Center in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And again, thanks to sponsors for the event here, Innovative Music Group, and our friends over there too as well at the Front Street Pub, and our friends at Sandy June Music. Speaking of that, Brandon Morrell, Alan Price here too. We'll get to the big announcement here in just a little bit too. And again, thanks for bearing with us as we get through all these technical difficulties. But Thomas Williams joining us here on the show from the Front Street Pub. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good, buddy. It's good to see you.
Good night of music so far, right?
It's been a great night of music, man. I'm on cloud nine right now.
Hey, we appreciate the support, and like I said, you guys taking care of us to get here too as well and do the live broadcast. And obviously, we're doing the best we can with the technical side. Coming live from Lori Morgan's tour bus.
Yeah.
This is not what we thought.
That's not at all what we thought. We were trying to figure out if we were going to do the green room. We were going to broadcast from the ice freezer because at least it had solid walls. So it's we're very grateful.
Pretty good, pretty sweet. Yes, pretty sweet.
Yeah, we can't compare to this. Coming live from Lori Morgan's tour bus, obviously. But hey, you think back and you met so many great artists tonight too, and we appreciate you being a great supporter of what we do here on the show, and of course tonight for everybody. But Keith Whitley, I mean, again, the legend himself, and all these great singers coming out to pay their tributes and their respects to the late great Keith Whitley.
Absolutely, man. He is the ultimate country singer, and when I think back on country music in my life involving with country music and what I'm a true solid country fan.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Whitley is that guy. He's the ultimate country music singer for sure.
No doubt about that. Yeah, and we always have fun. Tell people about the Front Street Pub. It's just a local spot in Smyrna. I love it.
Yes, it's a local, little small bar, historic. It's been there since 1941. We've taken it and turned it into a little music venue with the help of friends like Mr. Alan Price over there and yourself. You guys have poured some energy into that pub. We got a lot of local talent. We have not just local talent, but these big artists, big name artists coming to the pub. So we're excited about that. We've got Mr. Jeff Bates coming July 12th? July 12th. And Jason Michael Carroll will be there September 6th. And Mr. Brady Seals, you know who that guy is. Yeah, he'll be there in October.
And Caden Wilson.
Caden Wilson. I met Caden Wilson
Caden Wilson coming August 2nd. We just booked him. So.
Yeah, excited about having him.
It's been a ride, man.
It really has. It's been better than I could have ever expected it, for sure.
What was your favorite Keith Whitley song? What did you enjoy listening to? A little bit of everything, or would you have one favorite?
I Never Go Around Mirrors. I know that was a recut, but I love his version of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And Miami, who
right? We may have tried that at karaoke last night.
And you did a great job.
We try to on stage when we get a chance to sit up there. That's the cool thing about it. It's a cool, relaxed place to come to and enjoy it. It's almost like a family atmosphere too. And the karaoke is always fun out there for y'all.
Yes, absolutely. We do karaoke every Friday and Saturday night. And man, karaoke is fun. You want it to be fun, but we've got some great karaoke singers.
We do actually.
Yeah.
So, some of which we've actually booked for shows after they came in.
Absolutely. I'm like, you are not just a karaoke singer.
It's been pretty amazing. So, but talking about the pub and talking about, it kind of started out as something that, we Thomas and I kind of put together because, we actually have patrons that are from 21 to literally up in their 80s, and all walks of life, different careers, different status, all that kind of thing, and a lot of our folks, that we hold dear are the ones that don't really have the opportunity to pay $150 for nosebleed seats. So we bring a little bit of this live feel to the Front Street Pub and to our patrons, and they've just absolutely loved it. And everybody that plays there, they're like, man, you absolutely undersold this place. And I'm like, no, you just underestimated it.
Right.
So, going to do a little plug. We were, the first time that we had Jesse Keith out to play, and he comes off stage and he tells Thomas, he said, you got something special here. And I'm quoting Jesse Keith, so if this comes back to bite me in the butt, you know where it came from. And he said, man, I look at this place like the Bluebird with a pulse. And I'm like, wow, can we put that on a T-shirt without getting sued?
Absolutely.
So
and he reiterated that.
So we're going to do it, and then we're going to put his initials in quotes right underneath. So, but that's great stuff. We've had great artists there. They just keep coming. I remember in the early days when we started, kind of booked myself out of a job because I played there once a month. And now we have people just calling. When Jeff Bates calls and says, hey, I want to come back to the pub, and Thomas says, I'm sorry, buddy, I'm booked. I don't have room for you.
But not just
That's
Jeff,
a good problem to have.
We had that issue with Buddy Jewell, and while I was on vacation, Mr. Brady Seals contacted me and said, "Hey, are you interested in me coming back?" So it's surreal, but I'm very humbled by that too.
It's starting to resonate with people. It's starting to take off, and especially with the artists, because they're experiencing something with the Front Street Pub that they haven't experienced since they started out. You know, all these artists, myself included, we all came from smoky bar rooms and playing small venues and singing to four walls. You know, and it's really surreal to get back to where you started from.
I think one of the biggest compliments that I've been able to receive from an artist was Miss Audra McLaughlin, who told me the night of her show that she felt so appreciated there, and that meant everything to me, because I don't know what they go through downtown Nashville, but
right.
It's not an easy business. We know that, right? And so for somebody to come in and perform at the Front Street Pub and say that to me, that means everything to me.
And especially original music. They're like, we get to play originals here. Everybody does covers, you know, and patrons really enjoy, and the artists, because they never get to play their own stuff when they go to these larger venues downtown. It's all about what tourists want, what's recognizable, and you can hear a pin drop in the pub in between songs.
Yeah, and they're really paying attention. We recently had an artist that Nick Bentley was 2 weeks ago, I think, and he did 2 original songs right off the top. By the end of his set, people requested him to sing those same 2 songs at the end of the set. We've never had that happen before.
And as an artist, that means something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it too as well. I appreciate you stopping by.
Hey man, thank you so much. Appreciate what you guys do.
I appreciate that too. Thomas Williams, the Front Street Pub. Appreciate you guys sponsoring the event here too as well. And we got more to come. I think Daryl Worley's out there.
Yeah, got Daryl Worley, Jesse Keith, Eric Lee Bedingfield. Got a new single already hitting the airwaves out there. So really, it's great song, great video out there. Go check them out. Thomas Williams, Front Street Pub.
Thank you, buddy.
Next time we get you on, we want to talk about all the stuff that you do to give back to the community.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you guys.
All right.
So Craig Campbell out there too, and we're gonna stay live with you. Hopefully Daryl Worley will walk in and send some more in here too as well. Again from the Backstage Pass, live from Goodlettsville, Tennessee at the Patron Center here. And again, thanks to all the sponsors out there, Innovative Music Group, the Front Street Pub, and Thomas, all the work they do out there too as well, and our friends at Sandy June Music too. We're gonna stay live here as well because I guess we should get to the announcement. I've kind of kept it under wraps now for 4 or 5 days too at the same time. So as we get Daryl Worley in here too. You know, it's an amazing lineup tonight too. When you talk about that too, I still love.
Oh, it is absolutely.
Craig Campbell, Daryl Worley. You mentioned Eric Lee Bedingfield. It's just a phenomenal.
I don't know
talent.
what Craig Campbell's been. Did you see the tan on that guy?
He's got a tan. Maybe he took a vacation or something. Yeah,
he's making way too much money these days. I'm telling you, we love you, Craig.
He's a good dude, no doubt. And we've had him here on the show a couple of times too. And I used to love, what was the fishing song he did too, way back in the day, if I remember correctly. I'm thinking of
Fish.
It was just Fish. Yeah. Okay, from Craig Campbell. I got you from that too. And actually, the backdrop you see was supposed to be actually the Backstage Pass banner. But the good thing is we're actually live on Lori Morgan's tour bus. We did not expect that.
You did not. It's air conditioned. It's chilled. So, you know, we've been kicking around the idea of a portable studio, but a portable Prevo, we can handle that. I mean, it's only $2 million.
Well, you see what the one Lori's got here, and you say this is state of the art right here too on this tour bus. So ours may not be this big, but we get something. It'll be something where it's a portable studio we can have to have an atmosphere like this too, and have people to come on, all the great artists here that make the show possible out there too. And I guess you would get to the good news because we've been keeping this under wraps for a while now. I've kept it.
It's been a labor of love.
Labor of love too. It's been a lot of hard work here too, but go ahead and spread the word. The Backstage Pass. Powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com, a grand slam of sports and music, is headed to WSM Radio, the holy grail of country music and the most famed radio station in the world. So now we let the cat out of the bag.
Absolutely. So it's been absolutely amazing. We've been working on this deal for a long time, you know, and we had, you know, it's like Eminem says, if you guys had one shot, you know, so the folks over at WSM, we give us an opportunity to submit a demo reel. So we did a best of series. We went back and did 4 different shows. You know, we had Lainey Wilson, Terry Clark, Tracy Lawrence, and Brantley Gilbert on the show. Just all great interviews. So we kind of did a run of the mix of that proof in the pudding kind of thing, guys. So we're most appreciative of that. It's artists like that give us an opportunity to have a platform that's, you know, for the artist, by the artist, kind of, so to speak, I guess, if you will. So it's really been amazing, but you know, the folks over there said that there's really nothing quite like what you guys have got going on, and we want to nurture this thing, give you an opportunity to, you know, run this pilot and see where it goes. So it's been amazing. All the staff over at WSM has really got behind this show, and they're going to give us a shot and kind of see where it lands. So we're most thankful for that.
Yeah, I'll thank Margie and Jason Mays, and of course, friend Eric Markham out there. The whole staff has been tremendous there too. And I've had a hard time keeping it tight-lipped too, because me, it's one of the things where it's like it's in your blood, you love it, you're addicted to it too at the same time. And we got to make the announcement to a few people.
You never want to jinx anything. So
no, you don't.
You have to speak it into existence, or so you think, but then sometimes you just. And this is kind of a town of secrets, if you will. It's like, and it's kind of cool though, because you don't really let people know what you got going on, and you just, like my wife says, shut up until it's time to say something, and then you drop it like a bomb, drop it like it's hot. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight. We're dropping it like it's hot, and just glad to come aboard WSM and make them part of the Backstage family. And we're excited to become a part of the WSM family. So
we're excited next week. We'll have an official press release on it coming up next week, and of course more information on the amount raised for the Keith Whitley Memorial Show tonight, which is just, again, a fantastic lineup. So we'll get Daryl Worley on here just a little bit too at the same time, and come right back here. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course it's holding up so far. Great technical side of things too at the same time, but hey, we're doing the best we can right now, and a lot of artists here too. And man, it's crazy. The poster, I saw the poster that you guys made.
Crazy.
Amazing.
What's so wild? Of course, we're into the 34th annual now, so there's been different venues for this thing, and for years it was held at the Nashville Palace, and it's amazing to know that this event has gotten so large that they outgrew that venue, and they keep adding stuff to it. So this was like an event this year, where they have the golf scramble, and there's other things that's going on. I think they even had like trick motorcycle riding in a parking lot of a Red Roof or something. It has been crazy the things that Jared has told me is going to be going on. Hang with the artists. I think they're going to have some stages in the parking lot. We can get them to sing, do some karaoke style stuff if I'm understanding that correctly. So it's been amazing, man. It's just, and I look forward to seeing what the future is going to go with this. You and I met 2 years ago by happenstance when I was working on my album project. Came out to see a good friend and co-writer or writer friend of mine, and ran into you, and it's kind of been full steam ahead, man. I even told CJ when I was like, man, where did you meet this guy? He's got his ducks in a row. He's got some stuff going on, and I want to be a part of this in any fashion I can. So it's been an amazing partnership.
I love it, man.
You're my dog if you never hunt, man. I'm telling you.
That's good as well. Hey, we'll take a quick commercial timeout too. Again, the Backstage Pass headed to WSM Radio, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, AM 650. Of course, you can catch it on iHeartRadio, and of course out there, WSMRadio.com. And our friends out there, just tell Alexa, play WSM Radio Sunday mornings. Time to be announced, guests to be announced, and of course we'll feature a different artist every week out there. Again, as we come to you live from Lori Morgan's tour bus, it is the 34th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show live in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, at the Patron Center.
Don't forget about the sponsors that helped us get here. Plug them away.
Hey, the Front Street Pub, Innovative Music Group, and Sandy June Music out there. Look for Sandy's new single out there too, which you heard today, Rolling Strong.
Absolutely.
Across all those digital streaming platforms too as well. Again, thanks to sponsors, and if you guys want to come on board, again, interested in sponsors, email us through the Facebook, through the website, thesportsguyspodcast.com. Email us. We've got some great rates and some good things that we can do for your company right now. We want to brand it, make sure we take care of you, and give you the experience of a lifetime as we head to WSM Radio too as well. We'll take a quick time out there too.
Got Daryl Worley coming up. Hold on, guys. He's got a new single out that's just getting crazy called Tractor Time. We can't wait to hear about it.
We'll talk about that too. We just had Daryl on during CMA Fest Week for 2024, the 51st annual down at the Music City Center, and he played a few of the stages out there too. And of course, we had so many great artists coming off that. If you missed any of that coverage, tune in KKTC True Country 99.9 out in Taos, New Mexico, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. If you missed any of those interviews out there too. A quick word from our sponsors. Coming right back, it is the Backstage Pass live from Lori Morgan's tour bus. The 34th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show rolls on. Stay tuned. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors, and they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened, and it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse, and we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. Mm-hmm. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kemah Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kemah 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out again. May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this. And of course, run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course, all these great interviews we have here on the show. And best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned. And back here on the show, now word from our friends at the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. More great interviews coming up from the Keith Whitley Memorial Show live here on the Backstage Pass, KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. A word from our friends, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., U.K., Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KadenGordon show.com.
So we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024. And appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, decided just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more. And back here live here too as well. It is live. The Keith Whitley Memorial Show here again, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, the Patron Center on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course a great lineup of music tonight too. We're getting cozy here on this couch, live from Lori Morgan's tour bus. We did not expect it to go this way tonight, but I tell you what, hey, we're making the best of it despite some technical difficulties, and we just announced there the Backstage Pass here in a few weeks is headed to WSM Radio, home of the Grand Ole Opry, on Sunday mornings. Guests and times to be announced here in a few weeks. And I told you we'd catch up with him tonight too. He's playing a set later on tonight too. Good to always share the stage with him. The new single, Tractor Time. It's across all those digital streaming platforms. We talked about this at CMA Fest week, and of course, a few weeks before that too, you were actually on tour, and I think you did a show with me.
That's right.
In a hotel room, I believe,
right.
Which is crazy. The great Daryl Worley here to the show. What's up, man?
Oh man, we're doing good. How about y'all?
Doing really good, man.
This is pretty cool to be said. I just started my own podcast.
You did?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. We're actually we finished the first couple of episodes, and they're doing a bunch of editing and stuff, of course, right now. And something that I never even dreamed of getting involved in, but it's been fun. I mean, a lot of stories, and people love that. So we'll see how it goes.
Now, is this from the farm that you were telling me about, or talked about earlier, or was that just to promote the Tractor Time thing? When we were hanging out backstage, you had mentioned something about something from the farm, stories from the farm.
Stories from the farm was a thing that we did with Sirius XM
okay,
satellite
so that's
radio.
not your podcast, is it?
No,
So
it's called Sounds Like Life with Daryl Worley. And so we just used one of the old song titles, but that's kind of been my mantra, It's just I want everything about my career to just be real, and people don't really know how to handle that these days.
Exactly.
So much in our world is kind of fake or AI, if you will.
Oh man, is it scary to you as it is me? I mean,
I just nothing surprises me anymore. So, but we just trying to keep it real, and so we'll have a lot of interesting guests. A lot of the musicians and singers and songwriters that I love and revere will be appearing, and we might even do podcast. We might get you guys on there to talk sometime.
we would love it. Absolutely,
that'd be cool.
I'd love to put some of that on WSM Radio now that we know we're going there too for the show too at the same time.
I just think it's cool that you guys landed that, man, and I think it's just evidence in this day and time that if you are passionate about something and you don't mind working, that you can get there. My mother always said that. She said anything you want to achieve, you have the gifts and the tools to do it. You just have to be willing to work hard enough. And so you guys are living proof of that. So just keep on rocking.
Nobody gives it to you. Guys.
No, that's right.
That's it, no doubt about it. Hey, Tractor Time, good song. And just you always had a great sound since 90s country lives on too as well at the same time. But this one you got a chance to work on with a great team, great producer, and work with just an amazing project and a great song.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. We when Phil Billy told me the idea that he had, when he said that title, I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "I know what that is. That's redneck therapy." and he goes,
Right.
"Yes." And we wrote it just like that, man. And so I mean, we never dreamed that it'd wind up on that project with Big Machine. And when we took it over there with those guys, they absolutely loved it, and it was their idea to try to maybe pass it around and kind of get some of their artists to jump on there with me. So we got Justin Moore and Chris Jansen on there, and that's a big deal, nowadays to get those young guys that are having hits out there, with an old worn out country singer like myself. I mean, I'm tickled to death to have them on board, and we are going to see what we can do with that song, because who knows when we'll be able to pull that off again. So doing great on
artist
satellite.
to another, so they came up as I did listening to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, obviously, we're not separated by that many years. Those guys are quite a bit younger than both of us, but songs like "I Miss My Friend," "Have You Forgotten," all those great songs. And I've been dying to get you on the show because I want to ask you. There's so many people that seem like they have that signature song that they're always trying to beat. Have you ever had that one song that you're just like, man, this is the one song that was probably the most successful song of my career, and will I ever have something that's going to match that?
Well, I mean, it was Have You Forgotten, for us. I mean, I didn't have any other songs that stayed at the number one spot for 7 weeks in a row.
Crazy.
I mean, it was bizarre, and so we didn't even really know what to do with that at the time. And a lot of people don't know that we put out like 3 or 4 singles that nobody ever knew about, trying to get past that song, like you're talking about. So it's when you have a song of that magnitude, it's not just a blessing; it can be a curse too.
Absolutely.
Finally, we came with Awful Beautiful Life, and they said, "Now there's you." Now they said, "There's you another hit," and so it wound up being number one song. But it kind of got us past Have You Forgotten? But it wasn't there for 7 weeks.
I think what's amazing too is that when you have, obviously a lot of us guys know who you are, but some of this younger generation, they might not know exactly who you are as an artist, but they know that song.
Yeah.
One of the most resonating statements.
They don't know who I am, but they know the song.
Said, I don't care if anybody ever remembers my name, as long as they remember the song.
Yeah.
And Have You Forgotten is going to be one of the history book songs that,
Oh, it wound up in a. Somebody told me, somebody in the industry that I think a lot of. A couple years after that song was such a big hit, they said that's going to wind up in history books, and it was in a like 5th grade history workbook. Where they go and fill in blanks and answer questions, and it was also in a Stephen King novel. Yeah.
You have arrived. When you hit that level.
I thought that was pretty cool. A lady gave me the book, the novel at a show one night, and I thought, I don't read Stephen King. Why's she giving this to me? So I got on the bus, and it had a sticky note stuck on the page. I opened it up, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to read it to see what this is about. But she had it underlined, and I was like, oh my God. So I took a picture of it and sent it to my wife. She's like, what is that? I said, well, I'm just in a Stephen King novel. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about, like I said, kind of moving forward. What's next? I know you guys mentioned Tractor Time, and I know you guys are never going to rest on laurels, and we still got 6 months to go in this year for 2024, and always working, always writing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a workhorse. I've been telling people I got to get busier on the road because the farm's killing me. But I got a lot of great ideas. One of the things that we've been doing too is I've been writing a bunch of spiritual stuff. It started coming kind of when my mother passed away, and we've got a lot of things happening with that right now that we may be going ahead and put a project together, and because I think we're going to get some shows of that nature. And I've never done that before, but I'm totally comfortable going for it. I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor. My mom was a youth leader. And so working on that. But I've got several new country songs. I just wrote a song about my daughter with some of the stuff we've been going through as a family. I just got motivated and wrote some things. I think I've got a few hits that people haven't heard yet. We just keep on turning them out. It's a never-ending process, and that creative songwriting thing, it ebbs and flows, and you gotta, like when the wave is up, you gotta jump on it because it'll kind of taper off, and then you think, oh, I'll never have another good song idea, and then it comes back. So it's one of those things. Right now seems to be a really good time for me. I've never been the melody guy, and I'm a pretty decent groove guy. Usually I participate pretty heavy duty on the lyric, but here lately I've been coming up with a lot of cool grooves. So just those songs like Tractor Time are the songs that seem to get the ear of the young people this day and time because they can dance to it, and it seems to be like all they really care
You'll
about.
have a remix that's going to sell like a zillion. You're going to be down at Billy Bob's, Texas, and they're going to have a crazy line dance remix to Tractor
Oh yeah,
Time.
who knows, man?
Texas love Billy
It's
Bob's.
crazy.
There, yeah.
It's not just something as a songwriter that you can shut on and off. I mean, it's a part of you. It's being a songwriter is the stuff that keeps you awake at night.
Yes, it does.
How many times have you woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and kept a notepad down, and then you wake up the next day and be like, "What was I dreaming to write that down?"
I got one of them things now that I
little
can just
digital
talk
recorder,
it, and
absolutely.
because I'd think, oh, this is too good. I'll remember this when I wake up in the morning, and then you wake up and go,
and you just lose it.
what was that song title? Don't ever do that again. Anyway.
That's incredible.
I'd like to ask you about this. We'll let you run because you got the set coming up tonight too. But obviously here to pay homage and tribute to one of the greatest of all time, Keith Whitley. Just what he meant to you and the impact he made on your career, and of course, man, just long time. He's been missed, but these songs, kind of like yours, timeless classics, will live on.
Man, you know, this was the music really that. I mean, I'd always been. I was a huge fan of the people he was a huge fan of. I was a huge fan of Lefty for Sale. That's kind of where Keith, you know, listened and learned to sing all those licks and all that inflection, and then Haggard, of course, and you know, there's a big long list. But to me, like Whitley was sort of a modern day stylist and a crooner that we could latch on to and go, yeah, we love Haggard, yeah, we love Jones, we love Lefty, and we love all these guys, but this is our guy right here. This is our day and time, you know, and so he was sort of a more modern day, you know, like Randy Travis was too. And
it was an innovative sound that just kind of caught on like wildfire.
But his voice was second to none.
Lyrically, the songs are,
and he got great songs. I mean, that's another thing. You know, you can sing your butt off. If you ain't got a good song, you can forget about it. And so it was just people in Nashville saw it for what it was, and they said, we got to rally around this guy. Because I honestly think that the face of country music might be a little bit different if he hadn't died. I don't know. We'll always wonder about that. But his vocal stylings, we were in the studio on my first record, and we're doing this thing that's kind of grassy song, and I sang it through one time, and Frank Rogers, my producer, said, okay, let's do another take, and let's try not to sing this one just like Keith Whitley. And I was like, I said, dude, this might be hard, because, you know, that was the kind of stuff that I loved hearing him on. And so I had to really, and so, you know, in saying that, Frank was a very young guy that helped me find myself in the midst of all those influences. Absolutely. But to have him say that to me unsolicited, I thought, I can see why he would say that, because I just loved Keith. I loved what that music did to me. It like left I was branded by it, and it still affects me to this day, you know. And so we'll be working on a record, and I'll hear something, and I'll go, that came right out of the Keith Whitley book of country music etiquette.
Exactly right.
So yeah, now I'm so honored. The tough thing about these events is everybody wants to talk to you, and you're screaming in there to try to talk over the music. Right. By the time you get up to sing, you got no voice left. So I got to quit this.
Let him go.
Well, so for future reference, you know, we're hoping that, you know, if this thing takes off like wildfire on WSM, like we're hoping, is to have for very events exactly like this, because obviously Lori's not going to be around to lend us her tour bus all the time. No. We're looking toward the future of having a portable studio where we can come out and
I'll lease you mine. That starts with an L.
There you go. There you go. We might have to talk after the show.
We better talk. The great girl.
Anytime you need it, you can borrow it.
Don't worry. On the Backstage Pass coverage continues here. The Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the 34th annual from the Patron Center.
Thank you,
Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Appreciate you, brother, as always. We'll be back. More artist interviews coming up here. The Backstage Pass. Stay tuned for more. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., U.K., Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9, True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show Today's Best Country Mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's Best Country Mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more. And back here on the show, too, as well, the Backstage Pass live from the Patron Center in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and, of course, live at the 34th Annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show tonight, honoring the late, great Keith Whitley. Again, thanks to our sponsors out there, too, Innovative Music Group, and, of course, Sandy June Music and our friends at the Front Street Pub. We got a lot more content. Kind of just getting started right now. We are.
Absolutely are. I think maybe next year we can put in for a little bigger couch. It's been cozy. We love you, Lori. Thanks so much for having us out here on the bus. It's been a little bit of crazy getting kicked off and getting started, trying to find Wi-Fi signal and all that. But
we're here. Like I said, if you hadn't heard to the Backstage Pass headed to the Grand Ole Opry Radio, WSM Radio, AM 650 out there too, the home of the Grand Ole Opry too, and you can always listen to it. Sunday mornings, we'll have a big press release announcement coming up next week and over the next few weeks. Sunday mornings, time to be announced, and of course, artist guests to be announced there too, as we'll feature 4 to 5 artists per month. They'll tell their story like they do always on the full-length interviews that we do. And, of course, we'll play some songs, have fun. But just tell Alexa, play WSM Radio, and look for the Backstage Pass. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com on Sunday mornings exclusively on WSM Radio, AM 650. I cannot believe we're saying that. Can you?
Yeah. It's only been, well, of course, you've been in this 5 years. You and I met a couple years ago at a CRS event, and it's just kind of, the rest is history, man. But it's amazing how fast something can happen in just 2 short years. God puts people in your path for a reason. I believe that's happened not just with your families, but just the Front Street Pub family. Craig Campbell, what's going on, brother?
Craig Campbell, what's going on?
Come on in
here, brother.
Absolutely.
We're live here on this thing. Here, he's gonna come on this couch. Get cozy here, brother.
Long and lean, tan and mean. I'm telling you, you make too much money, man. You come to the beach, just look at this guy.
You just ain't got time to eat.
That's right. Lean and mean, looking great, all tanned up. Welcome back, brother. It's so good to have you.
Glad to be back. Glad to be invited to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
I see these events pop up all the time, and when it comes to like traditional country singer memorial shows or tribute shows or all that, and I don't always get that call, and I always am like, man, I'm a huge whoever fan, right? Like, call me. I want to sing some songs,
Absolutely.
But it's all good. I'm excited to be here.
Speaking of that, man, talking about the greats, let's touch on this class of '89 record. You are doing, of course, I've known you for years, man, even before we, physically connected and got to be good friends. You played down at the stage, and you did all these '90s country nights, man, and I'm like, that cat right there, why does he not have a record deal? It just, so getting back to the Broadway days, man, and living that life, and now going back and playing some of your favorite songs, Killing Time, the whole Clint Black thing, man. Just a class of '89. That's your newest project, right?
It is. And we
touch base on that.
Releasing, when you mentioned Lower Broadway, when I decided to make this record, I was like, there's no other group of musicians that can play these songs as good as my Lower Broadway band.
It's crazy.
So the musicians you hear on the record are the guys that I played with on Lower Broadway.
Not even session players.
No, not session. I mean,
amazing,
they are session players in their own right, but that particular group was the same guys that I played on Lower Broadway with.
And I do have to say, man, as somebody who's followed your career for well over a decade now, you played some of the best music at the stage there, and did have one of the hottest bands.
We did. I was very proud of what we were doing, man.
Absolutely.
And it got to where people were just we were packing it out, and because we were the only ones doing it.
Absolutely.
And doing it at that level. Like, I was fortunate to be able to put together a really good group of guys that were, one of the best fiddle players, one of the best steel players, one of the best drummers, and not only that, we had a couple of guys that could sing some really great harmonies. So we were.
Absolutely. And you're no hack yourself.
And we weren't doing
his baby grand piano that he's got all tricked out when you were doing was it the bar shows or whatever?
Yes, I still have.
You brought that out.
Yeah.
So they're bringing this baby grand piano out, and just you play the snot out of that thing.
And so it was. We had a lot of fun.
What's cool is to see this. You mentioned these tribute shows, and I see them on social media all the time. It's always great when a great lineup like this is on that poster board tonight with yourself and Daryl and Ali Colleen and so many great singers, up and comers too. And this town's filled with a lot of talent too. But talk about just Keith Whitley and growing up, and that sound that you could always hear when a song came on the radio, and the first set of notes that kind of came on there too. You're like, that's Keith Whitley. We just know when the pedal steel and that guitar kind of hits, and you're no stranger to the rain, or Miami too as well. What the impact he made on your career, and just what an event like this does for just a lot of great artists that he paved the way for.
Well, I'm gonna put it into perspective because a lot of people don't even realize this. So let's just say I've been commercially successful. Let's just call it 2011. So I've been doing what I've been doing for 13 years.
Family Man, your first single.
Keith Whitley signed a record deal in '86 and died in '89. The impact he made in 3 years, people don't even think about that. Like, it's amazing the impact he has had on up and coming singers like myself, and just that short body of work that he was able to put together in 3 years. It's just.
And the string of hits that came out of it.
That's what I'm talking about.
20 years in the making.
Could you imagine, had he not died, what the landscape of country music, what it would be?
It'd be unreal. We just had that same conversation with Daryl about.
It's insane.
There's just certain pioneers of the industry that kind of set the tone.
I feel like I still ain't been doing it very long. 13 years, but to do what he did in that little box is
well, now let's give you a little bit of credit where credit's due. Now you've been on the mainstream platform for 13 years, but I've seen videos of you in your teens down in Georgia doing your thing. So you've honed your craft.
Don't tell
Not to
anybody
mention,
to
as
go,
a musician,
don't tell anybody to go look for those damn
videos. You're a great piano player. He's humble. That's why I love him.
Well, I did. I moved to town. I was fortunate. I was able to make a living doing playing piano for other people, and it was that was my goal. My goal from day one when I moved to Nashville was to be able to play music and pay my bills. I never, getting a record deal and radio and all that was like that came later. Yeah. All I wanted to do was be in the middle of it all, and be able to keep my lights on.
Wise man once said, "If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life." And you spent your entire career, just paying your bills. But you didn't have to do the factory thing, or you didn't have to do it forever. Obviously,
Yeah, it's great.
You're still quite a young man in 2011 when you signed that first deal. Family Man.
No, it was. I'm blessed. There's a lot of people moved to town to have great songs on the radio, and I know what that race looks like these days, and it's tough, and I'll never take it for granted. I'm very grateful for what I've been able to do.
Well, one of the things we like to do on the show too is about talking about what would you do if you weren't doing this. Let's talk a little bit about some of your other things outside of the music, but still related, like Grindstone Cowboy, being a new label head. What's that like, being on the other side of the fence? As an artist trying to get a deal and the struggles that you went through, and now with all your success, you have launched your own label with some incredibly good talent. We've actually had one of your guys up at the Front Street Pub lately, and so tell us a little bit about the business side of the music and how that's impacted you, and being able to have the opportunity to have a mainstay now. Aren't you about to open your second location of the Grindstone Cowboy, which is even bigger than the one you have now?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So touch on that a little bit, just being a businessman and being a label head.
It's awesome. You know, the landscape of music has changed. It's the wild west. Even like major record labels don't know what they're doing. And so what I've done is, and me and my manager, we've opened up a little small label. We're not like working songs at radio. We're taking talented people and helping them spend their money in the right way. And you know, me on the production side of things, that's something I've always loved to do was produce music. And so I find talent that I love and pitch the ideas like, hey, if you ever want to cut a record, I'd love to be the guy, you know. And then once that's done, it was like, well, we can also release it for you and show you how to do it and help you in that way. And that's what we've done. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of, I'm so blessed to be in this space, to be able to do what I want to do the way I want to do it and have fun doing it. Like, for the longest time, when you're working songs at radio, you're trying to play a game that there's no rules and there's no roadmap. It sucks. And so I'm in a good spot.
But you get to do it your own way.
Yeah, and at my pace. All right, I'm having so much fun making music these days because I'm not trying to be famous anymore.
Right.
Like I'm just making music because it's in me, and that's all I've ever known.
You can't turn it off. We've all tried.
No, we can't turn it off.
You know.
I want to ask you about this. One of my favorite songs you ever did, and it was one of them songs just fun and lighthearted, and I love to fish. So we got to talk about this because it was radio play. It was everywhere. I used to spend it back in my early radio days too when I was at country radio back in the day, especially down in Texas. We love our Texas country, just country in general.
You do.
But you guys, I mean, from that standpoint of putting together that song with the writing and lyrically having fun with a country music song, I don't know if anybody else, I mean, there's been other great songs out there, but that had to be fun to cut and just fun to just give the message to the fans.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest with you, that song didn't. When my co-writer Arlo Smith came in, he had this idea. It was his idea. I'm not going to take any credit for that. Matter of fact, I tried to talk him out of it. I'm like, no, let's write something else. But he just wouldn't let it go, and I'm glad he didn't. And we wrote it, and there was a bunch of times where we were like, we need to pull it back a little bit. You know, it was very hard to keep it G-rated. And even when we got done, we thought, man, this is going to be a great song. This is a great song to play live. That was, we never thought anybody would cut it. Matter of fact, as soon as we were done, we played it for Arlos' publisher, and that was his words. He was like, ain't nobody going to cut this song. And I knew I was about to sign a record deal. And I said, that's fine, I'll cut it. Even then, was never intended to be on the radio. It was just a end of the show song. And then I was doing shows and people were like, we got to hear that fish song. We got to hear, where is it? Where can we find it?
Don't you just love it when you take a song like that everybody's against? And it's like we always root for the underdog. You know, and it's like songs like that you say nobody's ever going to play this, and then it just takes on a life and a meaning of its own. And it, you know, it's one of the biggest songs of your career. You've had a few of those.
It's been the most downloaded.
That's great.
Crazy.
Hey, we appreciate you coming by.
My man.
At It States tonight. Craig Campbell out there,
Craig
too, one of
Campbell,
the best in the business.
Good to see you, my brother.
Thank y'all. Yeah.
And, like I said, more to come here too as well. More artist interviews. I believe Anita Cochran's coming up too, and
Yes,
a whole
she
lot
is.
more here on the Backstage Pass. If you haven't heard, the show's going to WSM Radio. Coming
Craig
up here in
Campbell,
just a
everybody.
week
Thank
or
you,
two. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate you out there.
Thank y'all.
Live from the 34th Annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, from the Patron Center. We need a drink up in here, right, too?
We do. I'm telling you, I think Craig's had plenty, but he didn't bring any.
It's all good. We'll get some drinks. Be back with Anita Cochran here on the Backstage Pass as we continue to filter them in and out here. Brandon Morrell, Alan Price, again, thanks to the sponsors. Innovative Music Group, the Front Street Pub, and Sandy June Music out there. More to come. A word from Sandy June. Stay tuned. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, I mean, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kemah Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kemah 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people that are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out again. May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this. And of course, run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course, all these great interviews we have here on the show. And best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs. So I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
Boring, tear it down.
I have an idea on something. Let me go grab it and see what you. Sorry.
And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, decided you just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. and always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
There we are.
Back here live here on the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com too as well. I'm not to be in a shot. She's much more prettier than I am too as well. Brandon Morrell, Alan Price, again, thanks to Innovative Music Group, the Front Street Pub, and our friends over there, Sandy June Music, for sponsoring us here to do the live broadcast here too. Anita Cochran showing up. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
It's good, man.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Appreciate you being on here too as well. And of course, if you haven't heard the Backstage Pass, it's headed to Grand Ole Opry, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, WSM Radio, AM 650. Just tell Alexa, play WSM Radio, and you can hear it every Sunday morning. Time to be announced, guests to be announced. We'll put out more press stuff on that coming up next week. So what's been going on with you? You've got a lot of good stuff going on right now.
Well, I'm actually working on a new record finally, and Lori Morgan's singing on it.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I just love Lori to pieces. We have been friends. She's been such a supporter of mine since the day I moved to Nashville when I first met her, and being here tonight for Keith and Lori really is awesome.
You have to have that support system because, you know, a lot of times your family don't always understand what this means to you, but other artists do. People that share your pain, people that share your successes and your failures along with, you know, so it's...
And they help guide you. Like Lori, you know, she's been a mentor to me. I told a story in there the very first time I met Lori. We were doing an award show, and I had this long dress on, black dress, and it was cut real low. And Jeff Foxworthy made a joke about it for the following years.
You know you have arrived when Jeff Foxworthy takes the time to make a joke about it.
I know. So anyway, I go backstage to change my clothes because they were having this an instrumental part of the show. It was a CMA award show or something. And Vince Gill, Steve Warner, Chet Atkins, Earl Scruggs, Don Was, Randy Scruggs was all doing this instrumental, and they asked me to come play guitar with them and take a solo part. And these are all my heroes that's on stage I learned to play from. And so I was really thrilled and honored. They'd never had a woman do that before, play an instrumental show. And so I go backstage and I'm all excited. I go to take off my long dress and I go to put my black leather pants on because I'm going to go out there and be cool and play with the guys.
Right.
And Lori looks at me, and I'm sharing a dressing room with her, and it was the first time I met her. And I was nervous meeting her, you know, because I was such a fan. And she was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm changing to go put my pants on to go out there and play the song with the guys and play my guitar." And she's like, "Why are you changing? You keep that dress on. Don't you put them black leather pants. You put that dress on and you keep them cowboy boots on. And you get out there and you show them how to play it." I'm like, she had me this close. I was almost going to do it, but I was like, "Lori, I'm not you. I can't pull this off," you know. But she's been such a supporter of mine, and I mean, I grew up with Keith and her music. You know,
Right.
I mean, Miami is my favorite song. I mean, just one of my all-time favorite songs. And Lori, I mean, I just relate to almost all her songs. You know, her songs. She's always been such a powerhouse for artists, female artists coming up. You know, she's been such a leader in her strength and what she does, and as an artist, you know, she really wants something and she goes for it. And she's fought for years since a young age in a man's world, you know, the music business. Yeah. And so she's been a hero to all of us coming behind her. And I just love her pieces. I battled cancer 7 years ago, and she was there for me. And she's just been a supporter of the whole
on the other side of it. God bless you.
7 years ago, cancer-free today so far. So knock on wood, right?
That's right.
When you think back to 90s country, you're so synonymous with it too, but I mean the greats of everybody who came through there, Keith, in the late 80s to early 90s, what do you remember best about the projects and songs you put out, what you worked on, and of course working with so many of the great writers and so many great people in the business, Steve Warner obviously too as well. Talk about just that time and reflect on it a little bit.
Well, I've always been a fan. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a fan of music. My parents had a band. They recorded an album in 1968, and I joined their band when I was 5 years old as a rhythm guitar player. And we traveled all over the place, you know, and toured around. But my heroes, they'll always be my heroes, my mom and dad. But my musical heroes out of Nashville was Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, the Carter family. I was named after Rita Carter from the Carter family. So I've been a fan for so long of so many artists, whether it's country, bluegrass, gospel music. I came from near Detroit, so I am a fan of R&B music, and
Right.
you know, had a lot of soul music there. But the '90s music to me, '80s and '90s music to me, was so good because it still kept the storylines of country music and
Right.
relatable to how you're living your life. But the production got so much better, you know, in making the records. The production came along, and songwriting was just incredible. And the artists that were coming up vocally singing. I mean, I got my record deal in '94, and I was like, it was amazing the whole time. You know, all the '90s was great, and I mean, I had so many people. It was just we had so much fun, and everybody just loved what they did so much. And but the songwriting, I think, really grew a lot. You know, I think a lot more artists started becoming songwriters again. When I first moved to town, there wasn't a lot of artists writing. I was fortunate enough to get to write almost all my first record, and it was a privilege that, you know, not all artists get to record their songs.
Absolutely.
You know, but I'm very honored to get to do that. But the whole networking, you know, when you make friends with artists and songwriters and the whole Nashville community, the Grand Ole Opry. First time I played the Grand Ole Opry, I will never forget it ever in my life, as we all always cherish that moment, you know, when you get to do that.
Something surreal about standing in that circle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my parents would bring me to Nashville when I was a kid, and we would just go to that building. And it was closed at the time. We couldn't go in it. We'd go just stand there and look at it, you know, and I'd be like, one day I'm going to be able to play the Grand Ole Opry. Well, the Ryman was closed, but the new Opry House was open. But it's the community, the love, the relationship you have with other artists and your musicians in your band. You become family so much. You know, you're on a tour bus, and you live together, and they become your
most
siblings.
Times,
you know,
nowhere near as nice as this one. I mean, it was a 15-passenger van when I was running up down the top. You know, and you know, there was a point in time when it got to this level, but it was very short-lived. So.
Well, we all have to work our way up. Yeah. You know, we started, like my family, we started in a van. And then we got a trailer. And then we bought a 1949 Eagle bus and gutted it completely and made our own little bunks and all that.
Nice.
But we did a lot of gospel music back then, too. So I was really the only one that said, I'm going to go do this in Nashville. And that was really the Judds were the last straw for me. That it was like, because they mother and daughter duo, and my mother and I sang together our whole lives, and so we called us the unsigned Judds at that moment. But
there's only two ways to go when you put 6 family members in close quarters. You either really get close or you get really far apart.
Exactly. And you got to work it out.
That's right.
I mean,
because there's no way to go.
I've watched band members sit on a bus and fight and argue for 3 hours straight. Finally, I'll have to open my curtain and go, guys.
We got 5 more cities on this tour, so you need to figure it out.
Calm it down. It's over. Go to bed.
But some of the best stories are told in that form.
Oh, the best memories.
And some of the best songs written come from those experiences.
Yeah. I mean, you're traveling the world and getting to see so many different things. We're so lucky to get that chance to do that. And just to get a chance to even make a record, you know, and someone hears it and they can relate to it, you know, and a song touches their life. I mean, that's just the world, you know.
I want to ask you about this latest string of ladies, because I love this female power movement, country girl power, everything that's doing it right now. Just had Lainey Wilson on, you know, just a couple of years ago and saw her blow up. And then you look at just Ashley Cook, Hannah Ellis, and all these great, Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce, all these great ladies that are doing it now. And I remember your run, we talked about that, you know, from the 90s and 94 and all that kind of stuff. What's it like for you to see now this latest run for the ladies that are just kind of, you know, kicking ass?
Be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest. I'm going to tell you something. I'm super proud that women, first and foremost, are starting to get recognition again. And that we are getting women who are winning Entertainment of the Year.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's really an awesome thing to think that women are doing good in the music business now, because it's been a man world for a very long time. I mean, you hear 10 man songs to 1 woman song on radio, you know, so it's good to have that come along.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of great artists that's coming up, female artists that are really good songwriters and singers. You know, that Ashley McBride, I love her to pieces. She's true, she's
Carly
real,
Pierce,
she's raw. She's just, you know, there's some of them that are just like, I'm so proud. Ashley's singing on a new song I have coming out in the fall.
That's great.
With Lori. So it's I think I have a lot of respect for a lot of artists that's coming out right now, because you can tell in this business when someone has it really in their heart. And I think we have quite a few of them right now that is in their heart, and they do it no matter they're going to be successful or not, but they do it. It's who they are, and it's what they're going to do, and you can feel it. You know, it's like Patti Loveless. Patti Loveless can sing any song in the world. I don't care if she was sitting over there without a guitar or anything, and she still tears my heart apart when she sings, because it's raw, it's real, it's honest, and I feel that in some of our new females that's coming in, which I really
and looking back a little bit on your career, you know, because one thing, the music itself might change as it evolves, but the competition that you face, especially as women in country music, never really changes. Because I mean, you in 1994, you had Faith Hill, Martina McBride, you know, Trisha Underwood, Terry Clark. We had Terry Clark on the show, and she kind of resonated with this. So you always had, there was more women present at that time. It seemed like the competition was crazy. So to get an actual song on the charts, let alone have number one or chart top,
right? It's
that was
a struggle.
hard to do. Yeah,
it really is
so
a struggle.
but you had a great class of folks when you talk about 90s country. Yeah. You know, so there was.
I'm so proud to come from the 90s country. I will tell you, I'm super proud to be from the 90s country.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Steve Wariner, I was such a fan of his. I learned so much from him, from his songwriting, his singing, his guitar playing. And that man's a genius on any instrument he plays. He's just incredibly great. And so it's, you know, I was sitting in my house. I just got my record deal. I lived in Michigan at the time. My whole family's from Kentucky, but I lived in Michigan at the time.
Here, here.
And
Cats or cards?
Cats.
Oh, that's my girl. I knew it. Been bleeding blue since I was 2.
Bleeding blue since I was 2.
That's right.
That's awesome. So I was at home, and my manager said to me, he said, "You know, you love duets so much." I was a huge Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn fan. My 2 heroes, biggest heroes when I was a kid, singing together. And he's like, "You love duets so much. Why don't you write a duet for your record?" Well, there wasn't any duets back in the early 90s. Like, we hadn't had a duet album so long, and I was like, well, that might be dated. People just aren't doing duets. But I love them. So I'm like, okay. So I wrote the song, What If I Said? And as I was writing it, I was like, God, it sure would be awesome to have Steve Wariner come sing on this song. But I've never met him before. You know, I was like, I'm a new artist. He's not going to come sing, you know? And we recorded the song, and the president of Warner Brothers sent him, my label, sent him a song and called him and said, "Hey, we've got a new artist here. She's recorded a song. She'd really love to have you sing it with her. It's a duet. She really wrote it with you, like, in mind to sing it with her." And he told her about me playing guitar and everything. And so Steve listened to the song, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love it. I'll come do it." So the very first time I met Steve was standing in the studio next to him, singing my song and teaching him how to sing my song, and this is how it goes. And I was like, I'm standing in a studio for the first time in my life. I'm recording for the first time in my life in Nashville, living the dream, and I'm next to one of my biggest heroes, teaching him how to sing my song that I'm producing. Like, it was just the craziest.
No nerves at all.
Oh my God. But Steve is so great. Yeah. I mean, but Steve was so great. We literally sat there for 5 minutes. I felt like I knew him my whole life. Like, he was just so gracious, so great. He'd sing a line, I'd be like melting, and he'd be like, "Was that good enough?" Oh my God, you know? Absolutely, it was great, you know?
Right.
And he was so sweet. After we finished recording the song, he's like, "Well, have you hooked up with Fender guitars yet?" And I said, "No, not yet." He said, "Well, come on, I'm going to take you down there." So we go down to Fender Guitars, and we sat there and played guitars together for like 2.5 hours. I walked out of that Fender shop with new guitars, new amplifiers, a full endorsement from Fender.
Everybody needs endorsements and sponsorships.
Thank you, Steve Wariner, for that. So I mean, Steve and I we don't live very far from each other, and we've toured together, and we bought steel guitars together at the same time and didn't know it. He was buying one for his son, I was buying one for myself. And he calls me one day and he's like, "Did you just buy a steel guitar for yourself?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm buying the one that was sitting next to it." It's the same. We bought it from the same guy, and he refurbished his show buds. So I was like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting it for my son." He goes, "I'm thinking about getting one too. I'd like to learn how to play." Remember, I said that I'd like to learn how to play. I said, "Yeah, me too. I've borrowed my steel guitar player some, and I know a little bit of stuff." But I said, "I really want to learn how to play." So we started calling each other And he'd say, hey, man, listen to this. And he'd set the phone down and he'd play something. And then he said, play something that you learned. So I'd set the phone down and I'd play something that I learned over the phone. We're playing this with each other, right? And he goes, this is silly. You live 3 miles down the road. He goes, throw your steel in your car and come on up. So I'm all excited. Me and Steve Warner are going to go learn how to play steel guitar together. Well, I walk into his studio and we sit down. I get my steel all set up and I'm ready. He starts playing like Paul Franklin, who's like one of the top players in Nashville.
Everybody knows Paul Franklin.
Yes,
You're a
and
steel
I'm
player,
like,
yeah.
You said you were learning to play steel guitar, you know? But he's like, oh man, I am. He's so humble. But I was like, okay, I'm going to pack up my steel guitar and we're going. But we, with radio airplane women, when you were discussing that, it was a struggle back, because there wasn't very many women getting played a lot.
Right.
Faith Hill was, Martina McBride, they started to break through.
Trisha, yeah.
And Trisha, and they started breaking through. Well, What If I Said wasn't supposed to be a single. And my label was like, we don't want it to be a single. Your first song being a duet. The first single not being a duet.
Gotta focus on you.
Yeah, and I'm like, but radio's playing it. Like, they're playing it off the album. And fans are calling and lighting up the phones like crazy. It was #1 in Nashville on the radio station here, and they hadn't even released it as a single yet. So it got to like number 16 on Billboard chart before my label would release it as a single. And I was like, I don't understand this. So finally the president called me in, who also co-produced my records with me, and he said, do you really want your first single to really be out there successful being a duet? And I'm like, why wouldn't I want to? I recorded it with one of my biggest heroes.
Right.
It's a song I wrote with him in mind. What a magical thing to happen.
Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you arrive, right?
So they finally shipped it. It was #1 for 2 weeks, all across radio.
Nice.
And I'm like, thanks, Steve.
Right. I just got into radio at 17. That was in '97. I started with a station down in Texas. And I'll never forget playing that song, having it highly requested by fans that were calling in.
The fans drove that song all the way.
Special.
I mean, it won the vocal event of the year.
Yeah.
Because the award show, it won that year. It was called the TNN Music City News Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's called the CMT Awards.
Right.
But they called, it won that award for vocal event of the year, and that was all fan driven. So the fans drove that song at radio. The fans drove it to be #1 at radio, and the fans drove it to win the award. I mean, it was all about fan driven. So thank you, fans, for anyone who ever called or bought the song.
It's exciting too, and I'll tell you what, I want to get you back on. We're headed to WSM Radio coming up here in a few weeks. I want to do a full-length interview with you and just continue to tell the stories if you'll come back with us. So
Absolutely.
Especially after the new record drops.
Yeah, the new
Yes,
record drops.
absolutely. Thank you
A lot
guys
of
so
good
much.
things to promote. The great Anita Cochran here on the Backstage Pass. The line is happening. Thomas made this happen. He went outside and started talking to everybody too.
Thomas
He's like, bring them on
Williams.
in. Live from, I can't believe we're saying this, Lori Morgan's tour bus
Absolutely.
at the 34th annual. It's beautiful. It is beautiful back here too as well. You can take a nap in the bed.
And air conditioning.
And air
Thank you
conditioning.
very
So
much. Yeah.
that's nice too. But hey, we always got to cater our great artists to make the show possible here too as well. Again, the Backstage Pass headed to WSM Radio here in just a couple of weeks there. Home of the Grand Ole Opry. You can listen on Sunday mornings, time to be announced, and of course, guests to be announced coming up here. So thankful and blessed to be a part of the Holy Grail of country music. Can't believe we're saying that here in just a few weeks too. Anita Cochran here, Hannah Dasher, Audra McLaughlin coming up, and I think Jesse Keith Whitley was around too as well. And we'll cap it. I'm sure Lori Morgan will come by because we're on her bus. So we'll come back.
She's eventually going to get here when she wants to be here.
She's going to want to go to bed.
She'll want to go to bed, which means we'll have to pack up and leave too. Again, thanks to the Front Street Pub and, of course, out there, Innovative Music Group and our friends too as well at Sandy June Music. More to come here. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kemah Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kemah 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out. Again, May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this, and of course run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course all these great interviews we have here on the show, and best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs. So I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
We do a lot of things on the fly.
We do a lot of things on the fly here, and coming up here on the show, too, as well, we'll have more from our sponsors. She looks good, because you know what? No other lady in country music can have hair just as good-looking as this and wear a pair of glasses to look this good here. Brandon Morrell, Alan Price, it is the 34th Annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show at the Patron Center in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, too, as well. Did you take the stage in?
I did.
She did.
I did.
We're on the bus. We're at Lori Morgan's tour bus.
We got the best job in the world, but we miss everything.
Yeah, we miss everything.
I was Lori's surprise, so we kept it quiet. I couldn't really post it on my socials anyhow. But I love this little Hannah sandwich we got going on. My goodness! But how about Lori by Guy Morgan? One of the best female voices. I'll never forget my roommates. When 10 years ago, they were downstairs writing a song called Hurricane with Luke Combs. And they came upstairs for a little break, and I was playing some Lori Morgan, and I just got on my right that day. And my roommate Thomas, he's like, "Damn!" He's like, "I hadn't heard this demo yet, man. You sound good on it." He thought it was me singing. I said, "Hell no, that's Lori Morgan." Anyway, but she's had that much of an influence on me vocally, and I never realized it until then. Anyway, but she's one of the best.
You got a lot of things going on with TikTok, you were mentioning before the show, and just a lot of songs out there, too, that are going viral, too. Talk about the latest projects. By the way, if you don't know, it is Hannah Dasher here on the program. You can't miss the hair and beautiful sunglasses here, too, as well. Talk about just the coming up next, the next stage of your career, and then what's to come now with new music.
Yes. Well, I'm getting that mailbox money, thanks to Lanny and some other people, I like to tell my jokes on stage and things. Anyhow, but yes, Cornbread Cowboy chases me around. I'm on my second headline tour this year. They don't want to be an outlaw tour, so we sold out. So I'm hoping to sell out more. Y'all do come see us. And what I'm allowed to talk about, I'm still cooking, doing a little bit of that kind of stuff, and there's a lot more to come with that. And I'm working with.
It's a good thing we're still eating.
I love it. Well, when COVID happened and the world shut down, quarantine, the restaurant shut down, and I thought, oh my gosh, girls my age don't know how to cook. So anyway, I made biscuits and it went viral, and I made some joke about Tanya Tucker, and anyhow, Stand By Your Pan was born, and so wow. I'm grateful.
I love that.
I'm grateful for the places that's brought me, and and it's introduced me to Tammy White Estate, and put me on Rachel Ray and things like that, and put me on WSM many times.
That's right.
But I'm always glad to come to the Opry stage. I'll be back later this year, and I want to
Talk
play
about
it 10
branding.
times.
You need your own line of cookware, right?
Oh shit! No, I won't. I've got my wigs coming out. I've got a line of aprons coming
Hey,
out.
if Dolly
We got
can
all
do
those
it,
things.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Right. I think Dolly's great, but I'm a bigger Elvis fan.
There you
You
go.
know, I had to ask you too. You mentioned that. You said ask me this too, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
The female power movement, country music. Tell me about that right now.
I think it's great, but I don't want a trophy or any extra exception just because I'm a woman. No more than I, think anybody should. An exception should be made for the color of their skin or their sexual orientation. I'm starting to see the flip side of that. I think great music should stand alone on its own. I think talent is talent, and if it happens to be sung by a woman, hell yeah. If it happens to be sung by a black man, hell yeah. I thought Joe Cocker was black before I saw him. It didn't make a difference to me. Anyway, but I'm starting to see the reverse effects of that a little bit. I'm not a regular on some of the stages I've mentioned because I've been told because I'm not a certain color, etc. So we might not be able to mention this one. Anyway, we'll cut this part out. But all that to say,
It's a podcast. There's still a place for you
there you go,
somewhere.
right. Well, I think I'm not known.
This might be iHeartRadio. I don't know.
Well, it is. Yeah.
I just think great music stands alone. And I just think you shouldn't have to introduce a song when you hear it. If it's a great song and it moves you,
It stands
hell
on
yeah,
its own.
it stands
Yeah.
on its
I
own.
mean, we've had Blanco Brown.
Yeah, we just did. Yeah.
I love Blanco. He's a sweet guy,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
friends with a lot of them that when I lost my record deal, one of the first people that called me to say, "Hey, you're a bad bitch. Don't forget about it." Was Jimmy Allen. And no, I don't spend his record, and he doesn't spend mine, but I got his back and he's got mine. We check on one another. I'm friends with a lot of these people from all walks of life.
Well, we're trying to get Jelly Roll on the show, so you should hook us up.
Oh, jail. I love it. Brandy, not Brandy. Bunny keeps
That's
up with
right.
me, and
Live in the
he
615.
started following me and on my Instagram. So maybe I'll hit it. I noticed he's watching.
One of the
some
things
stories.
we're proud of is we don't really draw lines in the sand.
Good, I love it. You
Because
should.
great music is great
My
music.
God, yeah, come to a Hannah Dasher show. You want to hear rock and roll, a lot of rock and roll, and a little blues, and you're going to hear honky tonk music as well. So, and we might even stop and have a praise break.
That's right. We'll tell folks where you're going to be playing it.
I love it. Coming up next, I'm doing a 4th of July bash at Chiefs, at the Neon Steeple. Did I say that right? Whatever the theater is. Ray Wiley Hubbard just played there, and Eric Church has been playing there a lot. He just opened this awesome venue downtown, and so
there on Broadway,
I'm doing a 4th of July honky tonk salute to America. That'll be a lot of fun, and then
Absolutely.
come find me in Mini Pearl Jam on the road. And we're out with Travis Tritt some too.
Is that the name of your band,
Blackberry
seriously?
Smoke. I call them Mini Pearl Jam.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
If it's not the name of
like
your
that,
band, it needs to be.
it is the name of the band. But thank you, boys, so much for sharing your platform with me and for promoting just good old country music and for good music in general.
Hey, I want to ask you this, and we'll get you out of here. But as far as stepping on stage, what do you enjoy most about just performing?
For a while I thought this was all about me. And then it took some humbling for me to realize that it's my job to go out there and just leave people in a better place than I found them. And that's really my favorite part about this is just meet and greet and just all the shirts and them singing along and just the genuine joy that whatever it is that I do, music brings them. That's my favorite part. I won't ever take that for granted.
Well, she's a hell of a singer-songwriter, Hannah Dasher here on the Backstage Pass. Much love and continued success going forward.
Thank
We love her.
y'all.
And can't wait to see her again too
Come
as well.
see us. I was throwing some biscuits off the stage.
That's right.
Come back, Audra McLaughlin, Lori Morgan still to come here too as well for a few minutes because she'll be finishing the night when she's ready to get on the bus, talk to us, and I can tell Brad's like, you know what? After that, she's probably going to go to bed because they probably got a long show, road trip to do after that too as well. She's on that. I think it's the Grits and Glamour tour. I believe that's been with Pam Tillis. We just talked to Pam at CMA Fest. We're here for the CMA Fest week. If you missed any of that, the Sports Guys podcast.com, and of course out there just announced now WSM Radio beginning Sunday mornings. Time to be announced, guests to be announced. And again, thanks to the sponsors tonight, the Front Street Pub, Sandy June Music, and our friends at Innovative Music Group. It's live from the Keith Whitley 34th Annual Memorial Show, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, from the Patron Center. Stay tuned. More to come. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Kane Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
So I was telling Jerry, you talk about should have heard something.
Oh, I love that.
Little sister was sitting there going, wow.
We had her at the front.
We sure did. Yes. We know this lady.
Okay.
Back here live here too as well. The Keith Whitley Memorial Show too. Commercials, they pop in and out fast too. But thanks to Jared, Innovative Music Group out there tonight, the Front Street Pub, and of course our friends out there too at Sandy June Music here. The Keith Whitley Memorial Show, 34th annual at the Patron Center live in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And of course, if you haven't heard, the Backstage Pass going to WSM Radio coming up AM 650, the home of the Grand Ole Opry here in a couple of weeks there too. Sunday mornings, times to be announced, and of course guests to be announced. But pleased to have again Alan Price here. He set this up. Brandon Morrell here. The Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Marty Morgan joining us here too as well. What's up, man?
I'm just excited to be here tonight. I am excited about the whole show. I got to sing my dad's big iconic hit, "Candy Kisses," on stage in front of the crowd. Told a joke or two and wish little sister happy birthday, and talked about all the different characters that she does. She is a funny, in addition to being an amazing singer-songwriter and an amazing entertainer, she is a character, man. I mean to tell you, she does never call and leave me a message without her being somebody that she's not. Whether it's my Aunt Elsie, who's been in the grave for about 15 years, or old Grandpa Beckman calling up asking for me to stop and get him a pack of Mal-Mals. pack of Mal-Mals. So she's quite a character. So she does a lot of, she falls into character so quick. And once she gets there, she's in it. But it was a pleasure to be here, to be a part of the tribute tonight. Got to ride the ride for the first year this year, because it's only the second year I've had a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Hannah, I'm particularly excited about Lori's new album. I've got 3 cuts on it. Song that I wrote with Ashley Hewitt, Jesse's former wife, and one that I wrote with Johnny Garcia from
Garth People.
From Garth People.
Johnny's great.
Wrote that with Johnny and a young lady from Australia named Katrina Burgoyne. We wrote a song from the perspective of a dog, and Lori's a dog lover, and we wrote a song it's called. Well, we nicknamed it Wheezy's song, which was her dog. She had just put Wheezy to sleep about 3 or 4 months before I played her the song, and we got together to write. And I said, Lori, what do you want us to write? She said, well, I'm looking for something kind of swampy and kind of dark. And we batted around a few things, and nothing would come. And finally, we had this idea. Katrina brought this idea from a dog's perspective. Called "I Think You're the Greatest," which is the dog singing to the owner, and I put that we demoed it, and I put a video of Lori and the dog, a bunch of pictures of her and Wheezy together, and I played it for her up at Buddy Hyatt's studio. She was in there to sing some stuff for me, and I said, hey, before you get up and leave, I need you to watch this video. And we played "I Think You're the Greatest" with a bunch of pictures of Wheezy and Lori and Randy and the grandkids, and she just bawled like a baby. She said, okay, I'm going to cut this, but it's going to have to be the last song because I won't be able to sing after it. So, and then the third song is called "Days Like These." The first time she heard me do it, we did it at the Bluebird one night in a round, and she said, hey, if I ever next album I cut, I'm cutting that one. So I kind of held her to it. So
there you go.
I'm excited to have 3 cuts on Little Sister's new album, Dead Girl Walking on Cleopatra Records. It's an amazing collection of songs with some great songwriters on it as well. John Randall and a bunch of folks. But anyway, glad to be a part of that. Glad to be a part of you guys' little brief interview.
Producing this record this time around?
He was supposed to. And Lori ended up going to Richard Landis, who helped produce her big, which I can't remember what the album was called. It was her first big gold record album, and she recorded with Richard before. And her and Buddy had talked about it. In fact, the plan was for him to produce her, and then I think they had a little difference in agreement as far as the creative. What they were looking for material-wise. They're still great friends, but she ended up letting Richard Landis produce it. And I don't know if you guys know the rest of this story, but Richard passed away right at the end of the session period, and so she was able to finish it. Finished, I guess, the final mixing and stuff after Richard's passing. So.
We look forward to it.
Yeah, we look forward to it. And I was also talking to her because I got to listen to that whole album yesterday when I rode down to the golf tournament for Dead Girl Walking.
Oh, yeah? You heard the whole thing?
Heard the whole thing. Driving down there.
See, he's been holding out.
I haven't heard the whole thing, so I'm excited to hear it.
It's fantastic. Your cuts are amazing, too. They're really good, too. And she worked with a lot of great people on there, too. Of course, we'll cap off the night asking her about some of the tracks off there, too, as well. Talk about this event, too, 34 years to go on, too, and just the impact Keith Whitley had on country music.
You know, I was at home in my writing studio the other day, and I looked up and I saw a Keith Whitley poster from this event, and it was the 2nd annual.
Wow.
And I thought, wait a minute, how could there be 34 years since then? And this was the 2nd annual. Well, Jesse informed me it was the 2nd annual. They've been doing the ride for 34 years, the tribute ride, but they've been only doing the show. I think this is like maybe the 8th or 9th year that they've been doing the show, with inviting all the artists and Jesse coordinating all of that. But yeah, it was my first chance to ride in the event today, and first thing I said was, "Hey, you need to move this to October. June in Tennessee is brutal." But you know, I've been at it several times. They always have a great lineup of young artists, singer songwriters, and plus a couple of big time artist. Daryl Worley's done it several times in a row, and he's an amazing talent and a dear friend of Lori's, and probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the business. Yeah, I think he comes on somewhere near the end of the show tonight.
Hopefully, we'll actually get
to see that. Yeah, I'd like to see that too as well, because I know Brad's gonna be like, I'm swinging a baseball bat. Y'all need to get off because Lori's gonna cap off the night and get out of there too.
We got the best job in the world.
We do. We do.
But it's great to hang out with everybody and have that camaraderie, but we always miss the show.
I told you, Audrey insisted I come on the bus. I said, they don't want to talk to me. They said, I bet they do. And I said, okay, I'll go on the bus and see if they want to.
One thing I will tell you for sure, when my wife talks, you listen.
You listen to it, yeah, you do. No,
She's a sweetheart. Yeah. She insisted I come on.
She's from Chicago. She has that way of persuading you to do things.
I make sure of that too. You talk, she listens to. I didn't want to eat breakfast the other day. She goes, I'm making you breakfast. These burritos, either way. Marty, appreciate you being on.
You bet.
Looking forward to everything.
You guys throw a plug out there for the George Morgan collection. Anybody out there that loves classic country music, his Candy Kisses song is still an iconic standard, and we're real proud of it. Real proud of Lori. Real proud of what Jesse Keith's doing, and obviously the impact that Keith Whitley has had on the industry is just kind of beyond words.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
Real quick, I'll say 3 years ago at the 30th or so, they had Garth on. it was a real big show at the CMA Rotunda. And Garth got out there and described what an impact that Keith Whitley had had on him, and said the first time he got to do a single performance on the Opry, instead of choosing one of his, he chose a Keith Whitley song. What's that tell you?
That's exactly right.
What's that tell you?
Impact on country music, no doubt.
Yeah.
More to come here. Thanks to Marty Morgan here. Audra McLaughlin coming up here in a little bit, and a whole lot more. Brandon Allen again from the Keith Whitley Memorial Show here. Goodlettsville, Tennessee, from the Patron Center. Stay tuned. More to come. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix, and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
Sure.
And back here live again on the show here, the Backstage Pass. I know it's kind of with the technical difficulties there, but you know what? Hey, we made the best of it.
Try to do this.
Spin it around too. Get us in the shot too. But hey, you can hear the audio out there too. And again, if you haven't heard, the Backstage Pass is going to WSM Radio, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, AM 650 here in just a couple of weeks in July too as well. And getting some pictures here live from Lori Morgan's tour bus. It's hard to say that too as well, but again, we're expected to be inside tonight, but it's nice and cool. The accommodations are great. And if you haven't seen this behind us right here too, we just put this picture up. I love this because a fantastic shot of her to put that in that frame. It's always
Get it in there.
Oh my God.
I guess we get that in there. Just that's
I
a
love that
throwback.
outfit.
Throwback. I love that.
I love that outfit too. So beautiful.
She's here tonight. We'll be talking to Lori here in a little bit on the show too as well. Again, AM 650 WSM Radio going to. And here's one of the OGs. She started with me back, 2019 when I started all this. I guess it was or something like that. But it's crazy to see the ride. You've been on the ride. We've been on. We partnered up for a lot of stuff over the years. Audra McLaughlin here to the program. How was the experience on stage tonight?
Whew, I was so nervous. I could not believe that I was singing Lori songs of Lori Morgan. When Jesse asked me to do the event, of course, I was like extremely honored to do it, but I was beyond nervous. So that was probably the coolest experience ever, and I don't think I'll ever get to experience something crazy like that.
It's a big boot to fill, or high heel,
that's
whatever
yeah.
you wanna
Oh my
do.
gosh. Whew, yeah, those are some heels to fill. My red heels.
I love that. I was actually going to say sporty heels tonight too. I thought that was some of the best, most shiny shoes that really stood out too.
My Dorothy shoes.
The Dorothy shoes coming out. Hey, tell us what you got going on. A lot of cool stuff coming out. I saw you. We saw you there back at Country Radio Seminar. We're here for that week too. Of course, we're here for CMA week. But what's been going on since then?
You know, I've been writing a ton, and I'm gearing up to get ready to release my next single, Hate Being Me. And so I've just been building like a ton of content around that, you know, because we have to tell a story, you know, when we're putting out music. And I've been playing gigs a ton, and this opportunity obviously came up, which was huge. And so I was so thankful to do that. And I've got a ton of gigs, and I'll be out on the road a little bit this year. I'll be back in my hometown of New Jersey. And so I'll be doing some shows up there, some festivals and stuff like that. So I'm super excited to just be getting out on the road and just playing for people and getting to meet new fans and all that good stuff. So I'm also excited to get to finally release some new music this year. So,
you know, you explained to me one time and several times on this show, I remember that the challenges you've gone through in the business since coming off The Voice, and the ups and downs. And for people that may not know or just getting into the music business side of it, talk about just some of the struggles, but the challenges always make you kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, come out stronger than compared to what you face having to go through that to come out stronger on the other side. Absolutely.
When I got off The Voice, you know, there was a lot of pressure to feel like I had to be this big star, you know, and I was super young, and I don't think I was ready for it at that time. And I was still trying to like get to know myself as an artist and kind of like build who I was and like figure out like what I wanted to say to my fans and that kind of thing. And so over the years, I feel like I've really found myself. And, you know, I got lost there like for a little while with drinking and, you know, being peer pressured with that kind of thing, because, you know, being in the music industry, I mean, it's always around, you know. And for me, like, I couldn't really keep up with both anymore. It started to kind of get in the way of my career. And, like I said, I think just a lot of the pressure from getting off of The Voice and like being expected to like become this big, massive star right away was just a lot. I was so young, and I just, like I said, I wasn't ready. So I think I just drank a lot. And that's
What the frick?
Well, here's Miss Lori.
We got a surprise guest in the house.
Well, I look like shit. Sorry. Where am I? Here?
She's gonna sit here and just
Only Lori Ward can come on her bus.
Her bus.
Get away with it.
No, really? Do I sit here?
No, she's gonna sit over
You'll
here.
be sitting on this side of him.
Well, I don't know. Do I sit there?
She's gonna sit here.
She's gonna sit here too as well, dude. Definitely.
I love you, Maureen.
No, so you know what? This couch is big enough.
No,
It
I
is,
don't
it is.
care where I sit. I've got to get home.
Well, thank you for
gotta
letting us
get
use the
home.
bus tonight too to do the radio show again. So thanks so much. Always appreciate that too. Tell you what, we'll take a break. You know, we're gonna do this again always with you at the same time. More to come. The Keith Whitley 34th Annual Memorial Show here in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, from the Patron Center. Lori Morgan coming up. Stay tuned. A lot more coming up here. The Backstage Pass. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project. Sandy, I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, I mean, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, you know, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, you know, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kima Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kima 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, you know, the more people that you involve and include, the more people that are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out. Again, May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this, and of course run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course all these great interviews we have here on the show, and best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned. And back here on the show again, the Backstage Pass live on the Lori Morgan tour bus. Did not expect this once we started the night too, but for audio purposes, we had to come outside. Thanks to Brad, the whole crew, and of course, Innovative Music Group and everybody out there. Sandy June Music, and of course, our sponsor out there too, as well, the Front Street Pub. The legend, Lori Morgan here on the Backstage Pass. If you haven't heard, the show's going to AM 650, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, WSM Radio, here in just a few weeks. Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Oh, I'm so honored. I was like, somebody wants you on your bus, and I went, what? Who wants me on my bus?
Well, thanks for letting us use your bus tonight. In a pinch with some of the Wi-Fi connections and some of the technical difficulties. It's all good, but we appreciate it.
Thanks to my driver, Brad. I mean,
he has been amazing.
He's a great guy.
He's a good guy.
Thank you, Brad.
Let's talk Dead Girl Walking. I got a chance to listen to it on the drive down to the golf tournament yesterday, and thanks to everybody that put the event together for the 34th annual event tonight. Just fantastic album. I love this. Marty was telling us he actually had some cuts on the record. John Randall worked with some great writers and put out just a great selection of songs.
Oh my gosh. Marty wrote 2 songs, I think, for the album. Maybe 3, I think. And John Randall has probably, I think, my next single coming off the album. I had some great writers. It's been a labor of love album. We had a lot of ups and downs and heights and valleys through this album. My producer, Richard Landis, since Watch Me, passed away during the middle of making this album. He got sick, we postponed it. He got better, and then he passed away. And then it just felt it was an emotional album, and every song was what Richard wanted. And before Richard even got sick, he said, "Oh, the title of this album's got to be Dead Girl Walking. This is just great." So people were like, "Oh my God, why would you name your album Dead Girl Walking if you're producing?" I mean, this is what he thought the title track needed to be and the first single needed to be. So we released it May 3rd, I think. Released Dead Girl Walking, and then the album was released yesterday. And it's got so many great songs on it. Larry Gatlin's writing is on here. Marty Morgan, Mickey Newberry. So many great writers are on this album, and it's all about the music and all about the song on this album. We didn't go for necessarily what radio station's going to play this and what's not. We went for what fans really want to hear and what I'm about. And that's what Dead Girl Walking is about.
You mentioned the Grits and Glamour tour. I just talked to Pam Tillis on the show a few weeks ago, and she said, of course, always high, and she came down to CMA week for us down there at the Music City Center. But that's been a great tour. You just came to the Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, y'all passed through. I just missed you too, and I talked to Claire. She says, "Come on out, let's go do this," and everything. I said, "Well, I had to go to a high school graduation, so I just missed y'all, but try to catch it in another location." What's the tour been like? And y'all have collaborated on so many great projects in your careers.
She's my best friend in the whole industry. We didn't really know each other until we she came up with the idea of us touring together and doing this acoustic set called Grits and Glamour. And it's just been awesome working with Pam, a real professional, a real singer. There's no, as she says every night, this is no nilly vanilly. This is chili. She's like, I mean, she's a great live singer, and they're hard to find these days. But Pam and I have been on the road almost 15 years together, off and on. Of course, she does her shows, I do mine, and then we get together and work on the Grits and Glamour show. Pam's a badass. She
She
really
says the exact
is.
same thing about you.
Yeah,
does.
she
Yeah.
is.
Absolutely
She's
does.
just awesome. We have fun, and we do the girl talk, and all the things guys hate to know about, the false eyelashes and stuff. We do all that, but then we talk about real life, and we talk about politics, and we talk about everything, and it's great to have a great friend out there.
Last time I had you on, we talked about Keith Whitley getting inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. You were there on behalf to accept the award. And of course, Jerry Lee Lewis was still alive when he got the news, too, at the same time that Keith got in. Talk about the meaning of that. And of course, in the Grand Ole Opry, you get that news. And I think it was, all know, well overdue that Keith got in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Way overdue. But thank God, and my management team, Tony Conway, who's been with me for 30 some years, and without him, I don't know that it could have happened, because he was just a believer, an avid believer in Keith being in the Hall of Fame, and he used everything he had, all the power he had, the votes he had. Plus the fans who voted for Keith to be in the Hall of Fame. We were very blessed, and actually surprised, to be honest, because that's a hard place to get into, and we're not a politic family. We don't play politics. We don't. I've never been good at that. Never. That's probably why I'm
The politicians
here
ain't
on
even
this
good at playing
bus.
that game, just so we're on the same page.
But we were so proud of Keith, and I know he would have been like, I can't believe I'm here, and I don't deserve this. That's how humble Keith was. But we were so proud of him, and for his family and his mom, who long passed away. But she knew he should be there, and that's his forever home.
I wanted to ask you about, too, just like I said, so many great ladies doing their thing, too, and some of them were here tonight. I mean, Hannah Dasher, Audra McLaughlin, and this wave of talent now that I think and I would say it's always been, say, male-dominated business, but one good quote tonight: for every 10 male songs, you had one female song when I first started my radio career, too. But this whole girl power movement, and I interview, not afraid to admit it, interview a lot more females here on the show than we do males, but it's one of those things to see this movement now with Lainey and Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce. I mean, they're kicking ass out there with these songs and just putting out some great music.
Well, here's the deal. The women have always put out great kick-ass songs, but it has been a very male-dominant industry. And I forget who it was that said this tonight, but I've said it a million times. I can't remember her name right now, because I've had some wine tonight.
It's all good.
And tequila.
This
Not
is your
just
tour
wine,
guest, and
not
you've been
just
gracious.
wine,
So
but tequila. But if you're a strong woman in this industry, you're a bitch. If you're a strong man, oh man, he's got his shit together. Man. He's so cool, really. So the women they've always been here. They're just getting recognized. Thank you, Jesus. For what women need to speak about to other women, and so we had some of them on the show tonight, and it was badass.
It was good. Hey, the event itself to stand the test of time and be this long for 34 years, and of course you had the bike ride, the golf tournament I went to yesterday. Fantastic, beautiful.
Was it fun?
It was
Because
fun.
I was
Loved
in
it.
Wisconsin.
I got to play in it next year. So I got to get my swing better. And I got to play. So
You better get good.
I
Who
got to get
won
good. So
yesterday? Who won the golf?
Brad, who won? I don't know who won yesterday. I got to talk to Jared about that. Innovative, because he might know. There was a long shot contest, and they had the 18-hole golf tournament going on too. But I got to work on my swing so we can jump into it next year when we come back for the 35th.
Well, if you ever have a putt-putt tournament, sign me up for that. A long set, I'm just saying. That's right.
On that too. But just talk about this event. We mentioned the talent too, but just a night to pay that tribute and pay homage to a man that for 3 years, from the first time he got a record deal from 86 to 89, dominated the charts with so many great hits. And just think if he was still alive today, what he would have done even more in country music.
Keith was the best man I ever knew in my life. He truly was. He bless his heart. He had a lot of demons. Ones that most of y'all, the public, will never know.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a lot of demons, a lot of heartache. But it all came out beautifully in how he presented himself, how he sang, the songs he sang. People would never know that he was in the pain he was in from his past, from things that have happened. But Keith Whitley was a wonderful father to my children, our children.
Mm-hmm.
He was a wonderful husband. He was a funny son of a gun. He loved to laugh. This guy loved to laugh, belly laugh. He loved hot chicken. He loved great people. He loved to cook. He was just a fun soul. So when you met Keith, you had never known that there were demons inside him that were eating away at him. And he never knew how great he was. He never knew that he was a great singer. But I can remember having a little bitty belly with Jesse, and we'd be waiting for the bus to come to the house, and Keith would put his head on my stomach and play his guitar and sing to Jesse in my belly. And those were the Keith Whitley moments and the Keith Whitley man I knew. Wasn't the, he drank himself to death, he blah, blah, blah. I never saw Keith Whitley take a drink of any alcohol. Never. He wasn't a partier. He was a closet drinker. He was a sad soul who was inside himself. And so when you say, he drank himself to death, you're kidding me. That's not possible. I never saw Keith take a drink. So for us to honor him and his music every year, and Jesse did this year by himself. I mean, with the help of his management company and some great Keith Whitley fans and Jesse's friends. I mean, this was Keith. This was in honor of Keith, and his son spearheaded it, and that's what I'm proud of. That is what I'm proud of. That Jesse Keith did this all and said, you know what, my dad's not just a honky-tonk singer. My dad's a legend in the Hall of Fame. We want to have a golf tournament. We want to have a better venue. We want to have some things that, just set him above. And because he is above. So we're here tonight to pay homage to Keith, and we always do. Every day in my family. With my children, my grandchildren, we always pay that to Keith. And my husband Randy, who's bless his heart is at home, surviving cancer, loves Keith, talks about Keith all the time. He's always been a Keith Whitley supporter, and if you're not in my world.
Well, we're going to continue to be a Keith Whitley supporter, hopefully every year with this event. Thanks for having us. Appreciate the hospitality on the bus, and we can't wait to have you back on, talk more about this album on WSM Radio
Yeah.
here in a few weeks on Sunday mornings.
Right.
And all you got to do is tell Alexa to play WSM Radio. You can hear the Backstage Pass Sunday mornings. Times to be announced, guests to be announced. Thanks for your hospitality. The legend in the business, Lori Morgan. Go download Dead Girl Walking across all the digital streaming platforms. We're back. Got a couple more. What you got?
Let me say,
All right.
written by Kelly Lane.
Yes.
Dead
We
Girl
love
Walking.
Kelly.
Love
We
Kelly.
yeah,
Kelly
we need to get Kelly and
Much
TG
love,
on the
Kelly Lane,
show,
TG
yeah.
as well. They're coming back here. T. Graham Brown in a few weeks and a whole lot more. We got, let's see, Hadley Joe, Caden Wilson, and I believe one more. And Brad's like, we're going to drop. Who's out
Eric
there?
Lee.
Eric Lee.
And we got to get Jesse on.
We got to
Eric
get
Lee.
They got a killer single out now, so we need to.
the great Lori Morgan coming back here on the show. Stay tuned for more.
Thank you.
And of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024, and of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., U.K., Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9, True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
So we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
Editing, we're going to have to do.
Yeah, back here on the show, the bus is full, man. Thomas has been like, go check outside too. He's like, I love it. Katie Wilson, Brandon Morrell, Alan Price, and of course, you just had Lori Morgan here at the 34th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show. The Patron Center, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, too, as well. And what that doesn't get real than that, right? That was real.
That was real.
Legend Lori Morgan here again. Thanks to Innovative Music Group, Jared, and of course Daphne, and our sponsors out there, the Front Street Pub, and our friends over there too at Sandy Jude Music for all the sponsors and all the sponsors that made the event possible. Hopefully next year I told Jared to give me some clubs because I want to play. I work on my swing. I got a year for now to work on it too, and then we get in the golf tournament coming up next year. Beautiful course down there. And just a great time for Goodlettsville, Tennessee to take over and paying homage to one of the greatest country music singers of all time. And good to have you, Hadley Joe, joining us. How are you?
Sir, I'm good. How are you?
It's good to be here, too. Sorry that the line's been getting more off stage. We haven't seen part of the show tonight, but I know it's been killer in there from what they're saying. Yeah,
we got the best job in the world, but we miss everything. I mean, we always miss the show, so we have to rely on you guys to come and tell us how it was.
Oh, it's fantastic. Unbelievable.
Well,
you guys need to start filming this, by the way, so we can watch it later.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of social media stuff over the coming days. And, of course, don't forget next week a press release on the Backstage Pass going to WSM Radio coming up here in a few weeks. The home of the Grand Ole Opry, too, on Sunday mornings. Times to be announced and guests to be announced here, too. Again, thanks to the sponsors. Tell us what you got going on now with new music and writing and all kind of stuff.
Well, I've been writing a lot lately because we've been coming back and forth to Nashville every 3 months. I'm from West Texas, so we travel in. And I've been doing a lot of co-writing. I have 15 new songs ready to release, so I'm waiting to figure out a plan to release those and just been keeping up with my music education through South Plains College in West Texas, and doing a bunch of shows about, let's say, 4 months. So.
Coming from Texas, I got to ask you, because I'm down there by Houston, where I
Okay.
live now. And like I said, until I told Jared I got to move here and make this full time, no doubt. But at the same time, it could be happening very soon, right? Could be, no doubt. What is it about just great Texas country music down there? And my good buddies, Aaron Watson, Kevin Fowler, Josh Ward, Randall King, and don't even have to leave the state to make a good living or to write a great song.
It's incredible because all of the guys that I have gotten to work with have all been so nice and so genuine whenever I get to open for them. I have opened for Aaron Watson, and he invited me on his tour bus and everything, which is super cool. But they're all so talented, and people don't realize how much talent really comes from Texas with the Texas music scenes, the co-writing, and everybody supports one another. It's not a competition, which I really love about that.
Right.
So they're all about helping promote young artists.
I love that too. Talk about your songwriting, just the way you dive into writing a song, whether it be a solo write, a co-write, things like that, the meaning and the storytelling that comes out of that. What's kind of your style or that particular thing that you kind of set on? You say, you know what, I want this to come out of my songwriting.
Well, to be honest, I have nothing. I sit down and I really let my heart talk to me, because I don't have a specific way. Oh, if I have to sit down, I have to come up with this first, or I have to get this done first. No, I sit down. I always come up with melody first. That's one thing that's always set in stone, because that way I know kind of where to go and what mood I'm in. But other than that, I just kind of dig down deep until I find something and go with it.
And talk about this 90s country, because I mean, you're following the legend just sitting right here with us too, Lori Morgan, too, here on the show. Were you influenced by 90s country heavily?
Oh, of course. Of
Who
course.
were some of the stars?
Oh, I love Pam Tillis, Laura Morgan, of course. I really love the females of the 90s, although the men were really great. I just love seeing the empowerment of all of the females, and it has set a way and a path for females like me in the industry. And so I probably wouldn't be here without inspiration from especially Lori Morgan's.
Give me some of the challenges you face as a female country artist, or just an artist in general too, that a lot of fans may not see. Some of those challenges and just things you go through in the business, because fans kind of see the glitz and glamour on the stage and the singing and things like that, and of course coming to the shows, but the work that goes into putting it on, and we mentioned writing the songs, but just some of the struggles and things maybe fans don't see behind the scenes that you go through to get to where you want to go in your career.
Well, I really don't know why, but it is a male-dominated industry, and they look down on females, and I don't know why, because we're just as equal as men. And a lot of the guys down there, they get more shows, they get more opportunities, but I think that women just deserve the same amount of attention and motivation and stuff that the men do, because they're just as great. And with the men, they can be very inspiring for the women, because heck, Loretta Lynch, she wrote a lot of songs about me. So but I think that it should really just be fair. I don't know really the struggles, but for me, I've gotten a lot of shows taken away from me because of payment or merch sales or something. I had a show one time where they said, well, you know what? We had this other guy who said that he would come, and we'd rather have him for the show. I don't know why, but
Eye-opener, no doubt about it. Well, hey, appreciate you being here too. New music, some things coming out. When can fans kind of expect? Give us like a timeline, maybe.
Probably later this year or early 2025.
We look forward to having you back too.
Thank
as well.
you, guys.
Adley Joe here on the program. Caden Wilson coming up, and there's 2, 3 more out the door.
Got Eric Lee
Eric Lee
Bettingfield in the house.
too.
Yep.
Same here. And I know the show's still probably wrapping up, or no, it's still going on. Actually, Daryl Worley was about to take the stage too. Appreciate
Somebody
it.
needs to film that, by the way.
We need to do that too. He needs that film career next year too. And
the great thing about this, man, when they started, doors open at 6 o'clock and the show gets started around 7, and they literally will put every single artist that's on that bill on that stage if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know about y'all, but we've got an air-conditioned tour bus and a place to hang out. So bring it on. We were out to 2 a.m. this morning eating chocolate and all things. So
shopping at a British store.
At a British store.
The British store had some good goods this morning too. I should say good goods, but those sausage rolls,
absolutely,
that Chris had and his wife were actually really good. So I had a sack full of stuff because some people just kept throwing stuff into my cart.
Shameless plug, Chris. There we're looking. The British shop, Smyrna.
It's Smyrna, no doubt. We're coming back. Quick timeout. More from the Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the Patron Center, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. The backstage pass rolls on. AM 650 WSM Radio here, home of the Grand Ole Opry. Stay tuned. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kima Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kima 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out. Again, May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there, too, when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this. And, of course, run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X. And talking to a lot of people to check her out, SandyJuneMusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown and, of course, all these great interviews we have here on the show. And best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs. So I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned. And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024. And, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., U.K., Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, Today's Best Country Mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's Best Country Mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more. And he's back here too. We're cozy here on Lori Morgan's tour bus here, the 34th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show, live from the Patron Center, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Brandon Morrell, Alan Price here too. And again, show's headed to WSM Radio, home of the Grand Ole Opry. Just tell Alexa to play WSM Radio. Sunday mornings, wake up early and tune in via the app, iHeartRadio, and WSMRadio.com. Thanks to the sponsors tonight, too, as well. Innovative Music Group, our friends over there at Sandy June Music, and Thomas Williams at the Front Street Pub for all their support tonight, too, as well. And for everybody for coming by and making this event happen, too. Golf tournament was great. Hope to play in it next year for 2025. And, of course, the Patron Center, great host today for the Keith Whitley Memorial Show. Caden Wilson joining us. What's up, man?
Not much. Enjoyed it. Tonight was one of the most fun nights I've had in a long time.
Tell you what, how was the golf tournament yesterday? I got to see you there a little bit, but how was your swing? How did the score go?
First time I ever played golf in my life, but from what I heard, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a complete train wreck.
A lot of fun, too, as well. And, of course, say, man, thanks to Jesse, Keith Whitley, and Lori for all the accommodations and the hospitality tonight. Tell us what you got going on coming up. What can fans expect? New music, all that good stuff.
Say, we've got what is it, Cameron? My songwriter's sitting. We're watching each other. We've got 3 more coming out, I believe it is. I can't give you a date yet because it's a surprise, but they're coming out pretty recently, hopefully before the end of the year. But and as a matter of fact, he wrote 2 of them. Didn't he? You wrote both of them. Yeah. He wrote both of the ones coming out, and then the third one I actually got to write by myself. It was one I wrote when I don't know how old I was, but I was pretty young when I wrote it, and it's probably my most proud moment when I got to write that song.
Let's talk about the man himself we're honoring tonight, Keith Whitley, from a 3-year career span. You talk about getting a record deal in 86 and going to 89 when he passed. 3-year just moving mountains with all these great hits in the songs and things like that. And all the great talent we've talked to tonight. Lee Craig Campbell said, imagine what he would have done if he was alive today compared to the 20-something years, 30 years that have gone by there for this to go through and since the tragic passing. But I know, obviously, you had to be a fan because your music really resembles that. And at the same time, just the impact he made on you as a young man.
Oh, yeah. Keith Whitley is, and this is maybe a controversial opinion, but I'll say it and continue to believe it. If I love George Strait, don't get me wrong, but if Keith wouldn't have died, he'd have been King of Country. He'd have beat George Strait for that position, and I'll take that to my grave. Mm-hmm. Keith is one of my heroes and one of the main reasons I love country music. I dote on him all the time, but he's my favorite, and I can't get over how good he is.
To the fact you titled a song after him.
Exactly.
Talk about a little bit of, Whiskey, Women, and Whitley. I mean, I'll talk to your label head, Jared, he was like, give me 2 years, and he's going to be a household name.
Sure hope
Prodigy.
So.
Did you really pick up your first guitar at 17 during COVID?
I sure did.
Got bored.
I had one sitting at the house my grandma and grandpa got me when I was 15 because I told them, I'll learn it. Never did. My buddy called over my house one day and said, go get your guitar. We're going to learn a song. I'm going to teach you something. I had put it down since.
That's absolutely
been playing for
amazing. So literally, song's been released 3 months, over 300,000 views on social media.
Oh, I think we're 700,000.
700. Okay, so I'm probably a week behind now. So
it's absolutely my songwriter. He wrote it in 45 minutes.
So
that's one of the craziest things. But it's come a long way, and it's doing a lot better than we thought it would. I mean, we thought it was a good song, but we didn't think it was that good.
But it just resonated when you think about. It's one of the things. I mean, as an old guy, ELB off in the wings, and of course, you can talk about the things that we held dear. Keith Whitley's and the Charlie Daniels. The ones that we came up on. That was kind of our era anyway. But to see these young artists coming up that resonate with this music, because my son sent me your video and he was like, Dad, you check this kid out.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, what the hell does he know about Keith Whitley? He's 12.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I grew up on him.
And I'm like, just So that whole thing just, warms my heart to see that there's so many young artists out there that are actually fans of the same people that we come up being fans of. So that's just crazy, which in my mind, it's good reason. So obviously, if you knew who Keith Whitley was, you had good parents.
Oh yeah,
folks.
they put me on the good stuff. They
Put you on the
got
good
me
stuff.
from
That's
anywhere to 1950, about 2000 is where we stopped. So I listened to it all pretty much.
I love that vinyl records are making a comeback too for
I've got a
everybody.
collection.
Just putting them out. You got a collection.
I
Tell me
do.
what's in your stack, because I know my grandma said she would come back from the dead if
Yeah.
I ever sold anything out of mine, because the stack was what she gifted me from her will.
Yeah.
So keep all this. What's in yours? Because I'm sure we have some of the similar taste.
I've got some Alabama. I've got 3 John Conley records.
Oh,
yes.
I've got
John.
He played the
some
opera last night.
I've got some Statler brothers. I've got it all. I've got Clint Black. I've got Randy Travis. You name it, I've pretty much got it.
You got it.
There's still some I got my eye on. I'm looking for them, but I ain't been able to find them nowhere. So
There's still record stores back home
Yeah.
that I have too, and I'm sure there's some here in Tennessee
Well,
too.
the
I can
Ernest
imagine.
Tubb record shop, I think, closed, which was so unfortunate.
oh, I've got some of his too.
You got Ernest Tubb, man. You got me beat there on the collection there too at the same time. Hey, appreciate you being with us. Looking
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to more great things to come. And we're just a phone call away when all this
Yes,
good
sir.
stuff comes out. That we'll get all the contact information and set up a full length interview and take it all the way to WSM Radio. Thank you.
Sure, that'd be awesome.
You got it. Caden Wilson here. The backstage pass. Eric Lee Bedingfield coming up here. Jesse Keith will probably cap the night, and there's probably a few more coming out of there on the backstage pass here live from the Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the 34th annual here at the backstage pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and of course out there KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, New Mexico, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net, and soon to be WSM Radio AM 650. Stay tuned for a lot on home, the Grand Ole Opry. We're back with more. Stay tuned. And, of course, back here on the backstage pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024, and, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest-working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the backstage pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the backstage pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
He's fantastic.
And of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, I mean, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kemah Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kemah 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out again. May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this. And of course, run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course, all these great interviews we have here on the show. And best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
And back here live, the Keith Whitley Memorial Show. It felt like there's an after party now. It's just going to go on all night long. So you'll keep me out again till 2 o'clock in the morning?
Would somebody call my wife and give me permission to stay a little longer? I'm just saying. She knows I'm with Eric. That's the problem. See?
And the funny thing is, we didn't expect
Alan and I have had those nights before.
Yeah. He took me last night down to the pub and had a good night. And I was actually shopping in a British store at 2 o'clock in the morning. The British shop in Smyrna, which has all those goods that
sounds
they
like
import.
a jolly good time.
It's a jolly good time, no doubt about it too.
Drink of water and a spot of tea.
So is it really British?
It really is British owned. Yeah,
it is.
I have a stepfather-in-law who is British.
That's fantastic.
So he watches soccer.
So you've got to come check us out. We need you back at the pub too.
We'll do it. Let's do it again. That was a lot of fun last time.
It's crazy that you and Jesse Keith, which we've literally sold out every single show at the Front Street Pub except for one, and I think it was just a bad date. You don't never do anything unless it's on the lake during 4th of July weekend. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Don't try to play a pub show on the 4th of July because nobody's gonna show up.
Yeah.
But you guys, we packed it out. We might have been a little bit over capacity.
I was sitting here thinking, like, are you? I thought we sold it out, but I'm like, I thought somebody said we sold out every show except yours.
No, but you were there.
How much do you remember? There were people sitting on top of people. It was packed, and I tell you, that was such an appreciative crowd down there in Front Street.
I tried to tell you that.
Yeah, you did. You called. You said, "Man, this crowd, they really love these singer-songwriters. They really listen to the songs." And it is when you, as a performer, when you know people are into what you're doing, they're really listening to the song, really paying attention, it makes a big difference. And that was a great show, great crowd, and
when
I walked out of there.
Original music.
Yes,
I think right. if I remember right, because I probably didn't have quite as much as some people, but I think you guys got like 3 standing ovations in there.
It was pretty wild.
Gospel according to Jones. Just
I
This
left
is my
there
home.
with the big head.
Absolutely, man.
Felt pretty good.
He's like, you undersold this place. I'm like, no, you underestimated it.
Hey, when you took the stage tonight, tell me again, Eric Lee Bedingfield joining us here, emotions and just kind of what went through everything, thinking about the man, Keith Whitley.
Well, I tell you, for one, just all the artists that came together tonight, it was an incredible lineup, incredible talent. A lot of people that people know, and a lot that people are gonna know. I sat out there as a fan for most of it. That's the cool thing about a show like this, where you only got to worry about jumping up doing a couple songs.
Right.
You can really be a fan and listen to everybody else. So I heard a lot of people for the first time tonight and was blown away. I just had that young fella, Caden Wilson, over here, man. I said, that little dude's gonna be a
Amazing,
superstar.
absolutely.
Several like that, but you know, anytime you get to come together and pay tribute and pay respect to one of the very greats, which Keith Whitley was, I always say he's the Hank Williams of my generation. You know,
Absolutely.
Troubled life, yes, had vices that come out through his music, and you know, you always wonder what could have been had he kept going. But the legacy and the stuff he did do in such a short period of time is incredible, and we're sitting here 35 years later talking about it. So,
Beautiful tragedy, I guess.
Yeah.
Only way to describe it.
You mentioned something to Caden, Hadley Joe, and this got me thinking just some more good stuff to just talk about. But 90s country, so much that Keith was synonymous with, and so many great singers in that decade, both male and female. But looking back on all that stuff out there too, just what that era meant, often imitated, never duplicated. I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. But some of these, you know, kids that are bringing it back now, and I say Caden because obviously kid getting into it, tremendous songwriter, great singer, Hadley Joe, Randall King, and now there's this kid Zach Top. Just blew up.
I'm impressed with him.
Holy crap! What does that mean just to the industry and for yourself? You grew up listening to the good stuff. What does that mean for young people?
That 90s country was really my generation growing up. That was when I was in high school, and I got great memories attached to every song. I hear a song, I can remember the place I was, who I was with, where we were at, you know, what girl I was trying to kiss or ask out.
There are staple songs.
And it's really cool to see it coming back around, and it's coming back around because these younger kids are, I think, realizing how special it was, that it had some substance to it, that it meant something. And you know, I try to be careful not to throw anything under the bus or be too critical of anything, but I really do feel like country music got away from itself quite a bit for quite some time, a lot longer than I thought it would ever go. And I think, and it's funny now that it's the young kids that have felt that horse that's been beaten to death, and they're wanting something real. They're wanting something they can bite their teeth into, and
substance is coming back.
And they're going back and listening to that, and in return they're creating new stuff. So I'm excited where country music's headed right now. I'm probably more excited right now than I've been. You know, I've been at it a long time, as you know, and I've gone through some waves up and down, but I'm excited to see where it's headed right now.
And it's good to have you back out in the forefront, man. You know, you and I, you were one of the first people that I met 15 years ago when I come to town, and just, you know, welcome me with open arms. Like, dude, welcome to the town. It's tough. I mean, you were honest. You were like, man, it's no game. This is, you know, when I came down here, you know, 3 chords in the truth, man. And there's kids down here, 12 years old, playing on the streets that will mop the floor with you and then call you out when you miss a chord. And I'm like, man, I probably shouldn't have moved from Tapersville. I should just stay home. It's just, but you either get with it or you know, you get left behind. You know, but it's you have that camaraderie. You know, at the end of the day, they say, well, it's a competition. It's, you know, it's strong, but everybody knows it's that. So you're either defeated by it or you just, you know, try to muster your way through it. And having that camaraderie with guys like you and, you know, Jesse Keith and the ones that I've been fortunate enough to love, you know, along the way, and just that constant encouragement.
I feel like that's something that's coming back too. I look back
at good old voice
our heroes. Yeah, so there used to be a lot of collaborations, a lot of kind of, you know, the old saying, high tides float all boats.
Right.
You know, and it feels like it's kind of coming back to that too. Country music is not supposed to be a selfish style of music. It is supposed to be about lifting everybody up around you, and I think it's kind of starting to lean that way again. You start to see some cool collaborations, people, you know, getting with each other, helping, and friendly competition too.
And I mean, it's healing. You know, it seems like no matter what we're going through in society, you know, think about all the things that happen. You know, not to get too crazy and off the tracks, but you know, something like 9/11 happens, and then Alan Jackson comes out with a song where we don't stop turning, and that's a story that resonated with people. And one of the most profound things that I remember him ever saying, you know, when they asked him about, well, how did the song come about? And he says, well, I didn't write the song. God wrote the song. I just held the pen. And I was floored by that.
One of my favorite.
And I'm like, man, so that's, to see this younger generation, and then to see folks, like Lori Morgan and Pam Tillis and the ones that are still out there night after night after night, after they've been doing this for decades, and people are still showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's amazing. To be sitting on Lori Morgan's tour bus right now, you may not hear her on the radio like we used to hear her, which is sad.
She don't need the radio right
but
now.
She's out here playing show after show. She just told us that her and Pam Tillis are 15 years in the run on the Grits and Glamour tour. So they're still out there doing their
It's
thing.
kind of a sweet double-edged sword. It's coming.
Bittersweet, absolutely.
It's coming back around, and you can feel that and these people. There was a time where I was like, where is country music going? This whole rap game, and for people to do that, that's their own thing. I knew it wasn't for me, and seeing it kind of evolve back around.
Right.
I guess just like with many things.
Talk about legends, though, man. Not only do you got some great stuff going out, but backing up just a little bit, two of our biggest heroes, two of our biggest influences. After Charlie passed away, I actually bowed out for a while. Charlie was one of my mentors, one of my heroes, and I owned a publishing company at that time, and my artist stuff wasn't going the right way, and I'd had an opportunity to get with Charlie, and before that actually happened, Charlie passed.
Yeah.
And I thought, it seems like we're always looking for a sign to make us quit this business because it's tough, when we should be looking for the signs that keep us going. And I thought, man, when Charlie, I was actually at a client's house at the time, sitting in their backyard when I got a phone call from a friend, and my knees almost broke.
Yeah.
And she, you'd have thought I'd lost a family member. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, just give me 5 minutes. We'll talk.
Well, before
you're carrying on that legend, man. So Eric Lee Bedingfield fronting the original Charlie Daniels band with all the original members.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
It's crazy, to sing out there and burning it up, man. And now you and Jesse Keith got a new single out that's making some waves. So
yeah. It's one thing kind of leads to another. It's kind of a domino effect. But before I moved to town, had a band down in Georgia and got a chance to open up for Charlie, and he was one of those guys. He would just always a mentor and encourager. I think just a natural, that's just part of his personality. And he took me aside one night after one of these shows, and you can think that's an absolute hero of mine. I knew all this stuff. We woodshed all these things and all this music, and he pulled me aside and said, "Man, you really have something. If you ever thought about moving to Nashville and really concentrating on being your own artist and writing stuff, I think you get a chance in this business." And man, that you could have just sliced my throat right there and sit me. I could have died and gone to heaven right then. And it was a big. He had CDB publishing down there on Music Row. When I first moved down, they let me go down there and write, and it opened a lot of doors for me. So, flash forward here 20 years later or so, and after Charlie passed away, for the guys in the band to ask me to come out and open those shows, or the guys that I used to open shows with to ask me to sing in front of the band, it was incredible.
You already knew the material. So
when I went in there, didn't have any notes, any kind of lyrics, anything like that. And the guy said, "Yo, you ain't got anything?" I said, "Man, I've been singing this stuff my whole life."
Right.
I think they were pretty impressed by that. And I got to say too, you cannot read Charlie Daniels lyrics. He had such a cadence and a rapid fire, almost kind of like a rap and stuff. It's pop, pop, pop. It's like machine gun fire lyrics. If you don't know them, you're not going to sing it right. So you got to know that stuff. And I think that impressed the guys too. So, when we first started talking about it, I said, the last thing I ever want to do is try to imitate or replicate. It's going to be do it just as your music, put my spin on it. Because no one can fill those shoes like that. He's a one-off, one of a kind. Trying to imitate him would be just silly. Right. So, but man, I love it. And there's times when we're doing shows or even a rehearsal, I'm just looking at it like, oh my God.
And Charlie's band's got to be, because they were on hiatus for a while, and now they're back at it doing what they love. And it's like they've been recharged.
They are, and they love it. They just love playing, and I feel just special being part of that and seeing them to get out there and continue doing it. So.
Well, I know it's July coming up Monday. It's hard to believe we're saying that. So half the year's gone. You mentioned the new single with Jesse Keith. What else can fans expect now moving forward with half the year left?
I have a new single coming out called "Mama Never Liked the Rodeo," and I am really, really, really excited about it. We pretty much got a whole record recorded. Probably looking at putting it out either late this fall, early next year. We're going to release a few singles off of it as we go, but "Mama Never Liked the Rodeo" will be the next single, and I'm taking on with it.
New album is Resurrection.
It's called Resurrection.
So let me ask you: did you ever make a decision about black and white versus color on the album?
You know, we
cover,
talked about all the digital stuff might be colored, and we might do a special vinyl release that's going to be in the black and white.
There you go.
And we're talking about doing a reissue of "This Life Ain't for Everybody." So songs with Gospel Courtney Jones, George Jones on that going. I never pressed a vinyl on that record. And,
that was a great record, man.
I think we're going to do a reissue, a re-release on that one in my own too.
Gospel According to Jones. I mean, that's going to be one of them songs that, you know, I had this conversation with, what was Darryl Worley, I think. I said, you had a lot of success in your career, being able to actually record something with the Possum himself, and to pay homage to one of the great country music legends. Have you ever got to a point where you feel like this was your signature song and you might spend the rest of your career chasing that too?
I'll never get sick. I'll never get sick of playing that. It was a blessing, and it opened so many doors, so many things that song. And everybody says Nashville is all about the song, and everything starts with a song, and that's one I can really, really stand beside and say. I mean, I got to make my Grand Ole Opry debut because of that song. It was at Jones's 80th birthday party. Other things in my life, other businesses that I've had going on, were because of that song. People that were diehard Jones fans that I met would have never met them had it not been for that song, and we got into cahoots and did business deals. That song has given me back way more than any song should for anybody. In so many ways.
That double-edged sword.
It is, man. It's curveballs that I never saw.
But in this case, the song made the man.
It was things that no one could have predicted, and it was just a blessing from God. It really was.
We love stories like that on this show.
That's what it's all about, man. That's storytelling too. That's why we do the best of the best. Headed to WSM Radio coming up here in a few weeks. Again, home of the Grand Ole Opry. Love to get you back on, do a full one of these, and
guys, proud of what y'all doing. Thank y'all for having me.
Let us know when the album drops, man. We're happy to get everything on air.
Eric Lee Bedingfield here on the Backstage Pass again headed to WSM Radio, home of the Grand Ole Opry here in about a week or two. We're just waiting to get that debut going on Sunday mornings. Time and date to be announced, of course, on Sunday mornings. The pilot and everything getting it going, and of course, guests to be announced on WSM, and of course, hightidecountry.net. Over 250,000 listeners in 2023, and our friends at KKTC True Country 99.9. We got Jesse Keith coming up, and I know Thomas walked out the door to do a couple more. We'll see who we wrangle up. We got to do the after party, right? We got to hang around.
Going, yeah. I mean, we did 2 a.m. last night, so what the hell?
Keep it going, boys.
Keep it going out there too. Eric Lee Bedingfield here on the show. More to come here. The Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
It has been 2 minutes.
And, of course, back here on the Backstage Pass, quick time out here for our friend over there, too, and one of our most competitive guys in the business, too, man. He hustled in Nashville a few weeks ago there at CMA Fest 2024, and, of course, moving forward, I've loved the relationship with this gentleman out there, too. He's one of the hardest-working guys in the business out there here and partnering with us on the Backstage Pass, the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Caden, tell us all about this, man, because you've got a great show out there, too.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you. And the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We started about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when you started the Backstage Pass, was about 5 years ago. So that's kind of funny how we have that resemblance. But we started out back in 2019. I've been doing this for the last 4 years. We're on over 150 stations all over the world, in the U.S., UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, all over the place, including KKTC 99.9 True Country, and many other stations. I also run my own media and promotions company, KJG Media and Promotions. We do radio distribution, all that kind of stuff as well. We've had some big guests on. Recently, we just had the Sarah Evans on the show, so we're super excited to have her and had that interview be done. We've also had Parmalee and Rain Johnson and so many big stars as well come on my show. We've done a little over, I think we're at almost 2,500 interviews I've done in the last 4 years. It's crazy. Yes, I have been. But the best way to find what I'm up to is you could look me up on social media, either under Caden Gordon or the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And you can go to my website, which is thecadengordonshow.com. That's KAYDENGORDON show.com.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the loyalty. Love the partnership here on the Backstage Pass. Had a lot of fun. Accomplished a lot at CMA Fest 2024, and appreciate you always being loyal to us. And again, man, just can't wait to take everything into the next stratosphere out there too with you. And always enjoy having you here on the Backstage Pass. And you'll be hearing from Caden a lot here as we get forward to the next 6 months of 2024. Appreciate you being with us, partner.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. That is Caden Gordon from the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix and more of the Backstage Pass coming up here too, with more great guests and more great interviews. Stay tuned for a lot more.
It's very difficult too. It takes a lot of work and effort. That's what a lot of people don't realize. You know,
and of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it too, because you've got the military, the first responders. I mean, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. Mm-hmm. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kima Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kima 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this video. I think, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out again, May 27th. We're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this. And of course, run this through CMA Fest 2024. We'll be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, SandyJuneMusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course, all these great interviews we have here on the show. And best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
Oh, we're looking absolute mess. Okay, listen, it's hot out.
Oh, crazy! We're back here.
Come on, B. Oh. We're live.
I know we're live too as well.
I hope somebody's going to edit this.
Oh, this way, I think. There we are.
Okay. Like I said, I'm going to squad here too as well. You won't see me on the screen too because we're doing it, like I said, with the technical difficulties. But hey, great coverage tonight here. The Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the 34th annual here, live on Lori Morgan's tour bus. I can't believe I'm saying that for the first time, or many times tonight too as well, but which is great here. It's like trying to scoot over. I'm squatting doing it too.
Yes.
Thanks to all the
You
talent
really
tonight. Again, thanks to Innovative Music Group out there too.
What can we do? What can we do?
The Front Street Pub, and of course out there, Sandy June Music too, trying to get me in the shot there as I come back in here. Again, appreciate you guys being with us here too. And again, thanks to all the sponsors and everybody that made the event possible tonight. Innovative Music Group, the Front Street Pub, and of course our friends out there too. KKTC, True Country 99.9, and HighTideCountry.net, and soon to be the Backstage Pass at the Grand Ole Opry, AM 650 WSM. And speaking of the Grand Ole Opry, I did not know they were fans of mine for a long time, but I've been a fan of theirs and the work they've done. The 10th annual Josie Music Awards is coming up at the Grand Ole Opry, coming up this October for the 10th annual. And joining us here are the ladies that make it all possible from the Josie Music Awards. Appreciate you being with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. It's an honor. We love what you do.
Well, I love what you guys do. Y'all do so much for the music industry and so much for independent artists out there. So many great categories. Check it out at josiemusicawards.com. I'm a 2-time nominee here on the Backstage Pass, which is amazing. So thank y'all for doing that. Cross my fingers. I was telling some people today too as well. I'm not all about the award stuff, but hey, I'm coming here in October for that next time we're here, and I'm going to fall out if I win, just so y'all know.
Note to self, he's going.
We have tissues.
We have tissues. We'll have them backstage. We got you. We got
Tell
you.
us about this, the 10th annual. Yes. Unbelievable to have this milestone for you guys in the Josie Music Awards, right?
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's just so crazy. I mean, we started not thinking that it was. We just thought we were gonna have a party, celebrate the indies,
Maybe
we're just gonna have a good
50 people would
time.
come.
You know, with my mom, my dad. You know, maybe we'd invite the grandma. You know, but yeah. You know, now we're at the 10th annual Josie Music Awards, and you know, to be on the Grand Ole Opry stage, October 27th, which we're very excited about, and we're gonna have a bunch of really cool legends, indies. It's gonna be a mix of so many of your favorites. So far, we have confirmed, you know, artists like Jesse Keith Whitley is going to be there. We got Doug Stone, Buddy Jewel, Ashton Shepherd, Neil McCoy, Tiffany, just so many different artists, and we're just so honored to be able to continue to do what we love.
I got to go back there. It was like 3 weeks ago when I was here for CMA week, and we did the event Sunday Morning Country.
Yeah.
As we got back there, and I had my co-host Elise was with me, and you know, going through there, the parking, and kind of coming back to it. When you get out and you see that sign, artist entry, right there. Yeah. And then you walk in, you take a right, your heart stops, no doubt. And then you kind of go to the right, and there's this media setup stuff right there too. And I'm like, I looked at Elise, and I'm like, are we really in the right place here? Do we really belong? Like right here, side stage with this, but you realize, even with what we do here in media outlet, you've reached a pinnacle in your career, because this is, I guess, where God has put you to be here. And I'm like taking a break and running commercials, and I go to side stage right there and look at John Barry, seeing how great thou art on the microphone. It's like it just amazing to sing like angels flying out of his mouth too, and then you hear the beautiful orchestra and everything there. Every time you guys are there, I'm sure it just never gets old.
It never does. And it feels like home. I'm sure you can attest to this. I mean, when you're in that building, it just feels like you're just with family. You're in a home.
I think
such a great
that we were just going to be,
vibe.
We're always nervous before we first come out on stage.
Oh, yeah.
No matter where we've been. And so we expected this to be like really scary. We go out, we get out there, and we're waiting for the big red ceremonial curtain to
rise.
And we've never
heart
been so
stopping.
Yeah. No, we were like, I was really calm. I mean, really it's good. Like an at-home, calming, just a lovely feeling.
Absolutely.
We've never honestly been anywhere where we felt so comfortable, which is amazing.
And I just think the staff, everybody are just so wonderful there that it
Incredible.
helps put a great production.
Incredible. You
Yeah.
can't get better, honestly.
I can't wait to be there. Like I said, coming back for that weekend just to fly in and have a great 4-day event there too. And it's going to be fantastic too. Talk about just what this event means, because honoring and just paying homage to a great man, a legend in country music. Obviously, Lori told some real heartfelt stories tonight about the man that he was too at the same time, but honoring his music, his songs, just the iconic Keith Whitley, what that means to you guys.
Oh, I mean, everything. Because I grew up in a household where my parents listened to Keith Whitley, listened to Lori Morgan. You know, that's all that I listened to really growing up. So it was just truly an honor to be here and to be invited and to just see all of the performances, see the show, hear the stories of all the love that everyone has for Keith Whitley. To this day, his music just continues to live on in the hearts of so many, and it's it's just such a wonderful thing. We're so happy that we got the chance to be here.
He's so great too, and I know how the show itself tonight, even though we didn't get to see it because we're hanging out on Lori Morgan's tour bus tonight, which is still amazing.
Not a bad gig.
So thanks for that gig too as well, and nice air condition too, which is great there too. We accommodate every artist and have just the great shows tonight too. How was the show inside? Where you guys got to actually watch every artist take the stage?
Fantastic. Like literally, the lineup is insane, insanity. I mean, just like
they were all
every single person has just been so wonderful, and so many surprises too. I mean, when Lori just walked out, it was just. One of those moments everybody stood up, and it was just such a really cool moment. Yeah. And the video packages, of everybody wishing happy birthday to Lori, and then the Keith Whitley little video package is just very cool. Yeah.
Now, when Daryl Worley took that stage, what did he sing? Did he sing a Keith Whitley song?
We were actually backstage
out here. Yes.
We got to say hi to him.
Sadly, but we got to say hi to Daryl Worley, and it's so cool because we just get to see him, at different shows that we. Last time I think was the Lee Greenwood, salute to Lee Greenwood when we were media there. And it's just so great getting to see these artists, Craig Campbell, who we know backstage. We got to see him again and meet some really great artists as well. And then see you.
Well, I love seeing you ladies. It was nice to be on the golf course yesterday and actually take.
That was so much fun.
Daphne Mitchell, who's a great coordinator for this event, she goes, "Let's go hit the links." I'm like, "I didn't bring any clubs." Like, well, too late. I was like, I was telling somebody, "It's hot. Like, it's over here in June," and they're like, "We want to move this to October." I'm like, "Well, you know what? Hey, let's have the Keith Whitley Memorial Show in October when it's cooler. Let's go to the Josie's."
Right. Do it. See, back to back.
Let's do it.
Let's coordinate.
We'll make it a part of the tour.
Right. Let's coordinate this
ride
thing.
your bikes over.
But it was so much fun. The golf tour. It was hot, but it was so much fun getting to see all of the artists, do their thing. And we're just so happy to be here. I've been smiling the entire time.
I've never stopped smiling at that. And I hung out with Brahma Bull at Moccasin Creek yesterday at the golf course too. I was over there. Jeff McCool. Great to hang out there, and all the great artists who made this possible. And again, thanks to Innovative Music Group, Sandy June Music, and the Front Street Pub, the Josie Music Awards, and everybody out there, all the sponsors, Dirty Girl Vodka, and everybody who made this possible. Of course, Daphne Mitchell and Jared Mangum, too, as well, Innovative Music Group, to put this on the 34th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show. I guess I'm going to be seeing y'all in October.
We'll see you October 7th. I can't wait. It'll come in a blink of an eye. Trust me. This year's been going quick.
Yes, it has. So when you told me to hop on a plane about a week and a half ago and said, we're going to do this, and I went, we're going to do it here.
I love that. You're just you're dedicated. I was saying before you even got on the air, you're so dedicated. I love that you're just ready and willing to just jump in there and do your thing. That's what you got to do in this business.
That's the beauty part of the business, no doubt about it, too. We'll see you guys, too. Coming back here, Jesse, Keith Whitley, coming up here, too. Looks like the final one of the night to cap it off here. Again, thank you all for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
It's
having
amazing
us.
as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, more to come here. Again, word from our sponsors, more from the Keith Whitley 34th Annual Memorial Show here at the Patron Center, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Stay tuned. And, of course, we're here with Blanco Brown on the Backstage Pass, but, of course, presented by our friends over at SandyJuneMusic.com. And Sandy's with us to talk about a great single coming out May 31st. So many great people are behind this project, Sandy. I know you cannot wait for this single to come out.
Yes, it's actually going to come out on the 27th on Memorial Day.
27th, all right.
Yeah, so we were trying to push it to the 27th, and I think we've made that goal. So it'll be out the 27th.
Well, tell us all about it, too, because you've got the military, the first responders, Kima Police, everybody's behind this.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. She is the founder and executive director for an organization here in Galveston County called Wheelchairs for Warriors. And they make specialty wheelchairs for our wounded veterans. And she's been asking me for about 2 years to write an anthem song for her organization. And it finally happened. And it just turned out beautifully. She helped co-write the second and third verse. And we went to the studio. The music is just beautiful. And so this song is for our wounded warriors. It is, hence the name Rolling Strong. It's for the wheels, on the wheelchair, but it's also for the wheels in life. And it's not just for our veterans, but it's for our law enforcement, our first responders, our hardworking American people. And it's a good, wholesome American song with a lot of meaning behind it. There's a lot of people involved in this video. Our Kima Police Department and Fire Department were involved in this video. And in the video, they shut down the Kima 146 bridge for the making of this video. And there's just a whole lot of people in this in this video. I think, you know, the more people that you involve and include, the more people are going to promote that video. But it has a very good, strong message behind it, the song.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out. Again, May 27th, we're going to play it on KKTC True Country 99.9 out there too when it does drop, and do an artist spotlight feature on all this, and of course run this through CMA Fest 2024. Will be there June 6th to the 9th in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at Fanfare X, and talking to a lot of people. To check her out, sandyjunemusic.com. Hey, appreciate you bringing us Blanco Brown, and of course all these great interviews we have here on the show, and best of luck with this single for a great cause, and we can't wait to play it on KKTC. Sure appreciate you always, and your support means a lot here on the Backstage Pass.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I want to add, I will be at the CMA Fest. CDX Records out of Nashville called me the other day. I'll be there singing 2 songs, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it. We're going to run into each other. No doubt about it. Coming up a little bit, back to Blanco Brown here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, more great shows coming up over the next few weeks. Struggle Jennings, Kaylee Hammock, Pam Tillis, Daryl Worley. We just stack them up here on the show. Coming right back with Blanco here in just a little bit on KKTC, True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net. Powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned. And back here, the Keith Whitley Memorial Show, the 34th annual, has come to a conclusion. Thanks to Brad Henson, Jared Mangum, Daphne Mitchell, everybody, Innovative Music Group, too, out there. Again, Sandy June Music and the Front Street Pub, our sponsors, Dirty Girl Vodka, the Josie Music Awards. Everybody that made this event possible did not think we'd be on the Lori Morgan tour bus to broadcast tonight again for HighTideCountry.net and our friends at KKTC True Country 99.9. Over the next few weeks, you'll be hearing this audio back on the station, so show us some love, give us some likes on social media out there too as well, and go download the station content too. And the exciting announcement as the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, is going to WSM Radio, AM 650, the home of the Grand Ole Opry, in just another few weeks. Can you believe that? It's hard to say, though.
Crazy, man. Things have just moved so fast in the last couple of years. It's just
wow.
All
Just
the
coming
artists,
off.
all the support, and just everybody that's come out, and even tonight, man. I mean, just
it was awesome.
And to get the feedback from the artist and say that we've got something special going here, which was the exact same thing that WSM said. The last meeting that we had. It's nobody's doing this, man. So hopefully we're first on race day. We're thankful that WSM has extended the opportunity for us to do this, and it's going to move to better things. So.
Yeah, thank you, Eric Markham, Margie, and as well as Jason Mays over there too, and just the entire team. My publicist Sherry Cranford, Splash PR, and of course you, my friend, for everything that you've done here too as well. Over the last couple of years, we've been working together too as well. We'll see you guys back on the show coming up next week. Katie Hurt coming on, and also T. Graham Brown coming up here in a couple of weeks here on the Backstage Pass. He's got some new projects he's working on, and guess what? More surprises from guests we're talking to right now. Possibly the Los Lonely Boys, and a whole lot more coming up here on the show over the next few weeks. We're going to sign off. Jesse Keith had some other obligations to attend to. We'll hope to get him back on here in the next few weeks. But thanks to Jesse Keith for putting on an amazing show tonight. All the amazing artists that came out to pay homage to the late, great Keith Whitley, and his great music will live on forever. And we hope to be a part of the 35th annual Keith Whitley Memorial Show coming up next year from the Patron Center, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Brandon Morrell, Alan Price, HighTideCountry.net, KKTC, True Country 99.9, and soon to be the home of the Grand Ole Opry. The Backstage Pass is headed to WSM Radio, AM 650.
Do you know what time it is?
Sunday mornings at some point, with time to be announced and artists to be announced too as well.
It's time for the after
party. Oh, that's time for the after party. They're making that signal. It's time to get out of here. We'll see you guys for more. We may have some video for the after party. Stay tuned. It is the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. See you soon.